On the channel.
Yeah. You'll see.
It says Renegade Ramble live from Primordic Studios.
That's us.
Okay. And then I just basically...
Oh, it says it has 40 views already? I think that's us. Oh my.
Or is that the old one?
It might be the old one, because it already has 40 views.
Whoops. I think your surprise might have kind of gotten screwed over.
Oh, there it is. 14 watching. Share.
Yeah, I can't even see that.
Dang it, he beat me to it.
Who?
Ginger. Again.
He always does that.
God bless America. All right, I'll share it on Twitter. Why
Okay,
not?
here we go. So, okay.
God bless America. All right, I'll share it on Twitter. You can hear us. Hello.
Hello.
Are you? Turn it off. Turn it off. I hate hearing my voice.
Yeah.
So
Hey, we're in a positive
It's funny
feedback
live
right now.
streaming technology.
Yeah.
nowadays.
Isn't the audio
So-
supposed to be on?
yeah, I guess so.
Right.
It's okay. All right, now bring up the cameras. Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Oh.
Bridget, Ginger. Hello, everyone.
Like, what's up?
Vamp Hunter D, Dusk. What's up, everybody?
It's good.
How y'all doing out there? So yeah, we are live now on the YouTubes, and we are here in an awesome place.
This seems new.
Yeah, this place is new. This place
I have
is
no
huge.
Memory,
Oh
no
my
memory
gosh.
of this place.
Of course you don't. You don't have memory of this morning.
That's true too.
But welcome everyone. So for those of you wondering where the hell we are, as it says in the title down below, we are in Primordic Studios. So Primordic is a studio based out of Irwin, Tennessee. I mean, they are responsible for this awesome set and also a bunch of other awesome sets here that they have here. We are opening up a bit of a working relationship with them, and we are trying to work on projects together, this being one of them, and a few other things. So everyone out there, I want to introduce to you two members here at Primordic. We have, of course, Jacob.
What's up?
And we have Roan.
So somebody else can do that too.
So yeah. It's actually really cool that y'all are deciding to chill with us today and be a part of this inaugural thing.
Absolutely, man.
So Primordic, they have how long have you all been in operation for?
So we've had the studio for about 4.5 years now, but because we bought it as basically a closed down elementary school.
Yeah.
So basically 4 of those years, it's for me, it was me and my father is the one that bought it. And me and him have been trying to build this studio up, and Jacob joined us here about a year ago now, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So,
That's cool.
but mainly with me and Ron, it's just been us trying to get this elementary school converted over to a film studio. So it's taken us about 4 years, and we've finally gotten to the point where we're done with that, and we can finally focus on productions, which is exciting. But also we're tired.
I'm actually seeing a lot of people. So yeah, that's oh man, a lot of work. Hey, same thing here. We've been working on this channel for almost 4.5, 5 years, and it's just been, trial and error. Just like stuff happening, people coming in, people leaving, and it can be a task to hold on to something and hold on to a project that long, but when it really starts to prosper and you really start gaining ground and all that, it really makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
All that work that you put into it. And I'm actually seeing now a lot of people in the comment section are actually they're calling you Rowan the Accuser. Yeah, shout out to the Ronan the Accuser. Ronan,
This is too
That's
professional.
spelled
What have you
RONE
done
for
tonight?
everybody. That's
I'm still
wondering.
here. I'm still the same Nate, guys, and it's just we're trying to step our game up a little bit. We're trying to make things more professional, and we're trying to expand. We're trying to bring in more people who know what the hell they're doing. I mean, this awesome camera that you're seeing right now, that up front, the main one, this belongs to Primordic, and the quality that we get with the equipment they have here, and not only that, but the awesome people that we make connections with. I mean,
No, it just takes a while to learn it, but Other than that, it's not too bad.
Yeah, I appreciate you all taking the time to
No
to
problem.
open
we're
your doors
interested
to
in
us.
doing live streaming stuff too. So like just seeing your guys' methods on how you guys do setups is, I see so many different live streams that are technically way different because they're different type of capture cards, different softwares. Of course YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. There's lots of different ways to stream stuff. So it's interesting to learn. So.
Well, I'm just glad that you all are tolerating our craziness.
Oh, it's not even that. I mean, we're happy to work with you, and this is when we first started. You're a fan of Rooster Teeth, as am I.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Rooster Teeth is very much it's a touchstone for at least my part in what we've been trying to do here. And one of the things that I really wanted to do was doing the podcast stuff and the gaming let's plays and stuff that they do. And so it's been serendipitous to run into you guys. So I'm hoping that we can definitely move forward together and do some cool shit.
Move forward, expand, grow. Grow as companies, and also have a good, successful working relationship. See what comes of it.
I've had ideas just like forming since I've met you guys.
Oh yeah. He's told me about it.
That's what this place does. See, it'll give you
creativity.
Walk it through it. It'll give you ideas, and after a long enough time, you're gonna feel like you're in The Shining. It's gonna drive you insane.
Yeah. Well, I noticed when I went to the restroom earlier, I was like, "This is creepy." Someone's gonna grab me from under the stall.
It has that effect.
Like,
Yeah, some rooms that have like a horror rendition. Some of them's like, wow, I could.
You should have seen it when we first got it, with it just completely just empty. You have like a very, very dystopian, where like just one classroom. I have like a chair or a table they left behind.
Yeah,
and it looks like something out of Chernobyl or something.
Yeah. Well, all the projects that we've talked about, and actually a project that we're working on, hopefully here in the future, can come to fruition, and we can make it a possibility. That's of course a project I've had cooking up for like the last 2+ years, trying to get made, and
we just did some location scouting for it the other day, and found a really, really cool location. Still trying to get in touch with the owners on that, but if we can get that, and you'll definitely be able to pull it off.
Is that mic close enough to?
Yep.
Yeah, and actually mine's a little too close, so I'm going to pull mine back just a little bit, because I'm a loud boy. That's I project very well. That's what a lot of people tell me.
I do not.
That's fine. Yeah, so
I hope I'm not speaking too loud, because this thing is right.
Well, I'm looking at the level on here. For those of you wondering, this right here, break a little bit of the illusion. That's a television that we've got right here. We got it leaned up against this table. We have chat right here, and we have a video feed from OBS Studio right here, so that we can see what's going on. We can look at the levels, maintain.
At least you two can.
That's right. You're kind of like.
So let's watch. Really want you to know that Ruby's season 6 is out, or volume 6.
God. Okay. Here's the thing. For the longest time we've done solely reactions, and Ruby is one of our most popular reaction series. I'd say
Ruby. I love Ruby.
Well, of course you do. You should see this guy's office. Massive amounts of Ruby, Ruby artwork, and
all over my workstation.
Yeah, and one of his probably one of his favorite creators of all time was Monty Ohm. Which of course.
Yeah,
and Monty was
hard losing him.
Monty was a hell of a creative individual, and him and Shane, the work they did with Rooster Teeth in the beginning on Red versus Blue, that spawned into Ruby, and now it's. Dude, it's massive.
Awesome.
And
that's part of the thing too. Is like I said, it initially started with just me and Ron, my father, the owner of the company.
Mm-hmm.
Just starting off kind of similar to how they started with Rooster Teeth, as far as it was just me and him. He was an ROTC instructor. I was basically working out of his classroom as an editor, and then we came across this place and. Things have expanded, and we're hoping to get we got Jacob on board, and we're hoping kind of like how Rooster Teeth, where it's kind of a chain reaction. Once you start getting more people in, it's a snowball effect. And
you want to have good people to work with, because I can attest, because I actually Renegade Media Group, I actually formed it out of a broken working relationship that started it things were going really well for like the first year and a half. You know, we had a lot of really good ideas and stuff like that. But then we started to like abandon projects that we poured so much effort into, and it was just like, why do we abandon it? And he was just like, oh, we're moving on from that. We're moving on from that. We can't do that anymore. And I'm like,
it's a lot of work. It's very time consuming.
It's something you gotta be committed to finishing a project, especially when you have a lot of investment into it.
And then eventually the working relationship really soured because we each, as in me and two of the other founding members of the channel, Micah and Caleb, we all pitched in, actually Sean as well, like all four of us pitched in money for us to go to the Fanboy Expo and do a booth there. And things went really good for a little bit, but then when it came to paying us back for, that's one thing we agreed upon. If we didn't make the money back, that's fine, as long as we split it up equally to where we could get our money back for what we put in on the booth. That was what we all agreed upon. Turns out the guy pocketed all the money and instead gave it to himself and other people that he brought in to work on the booth. And I'm like, that's kind of sketchy.
Yeah,
and
that's
everything fell apart.
Yeah.
And thus I found, oh, hi, Heather. Heather, Abby, and Chris Sherman Dill. Vam Hunter D. Lover, and Ariel. Ariel's there. By the way, Ben is not here. Ben is unfortunately ill right now. He's been ill for the last couple days, which is why you haven't seen him that much on stream.
He made a short appearance last night when I was playing Subnautica, but
I need to meet this guy because if he's as much of a Mega Man fan as I am,
he'd flip out over that.
Yeah, he loved that.
He'd flip out over that. So yeah, hit the Mega Man blaster and also the shirt. And you also got a beanie over there.
I got the wristband.
The wristband, the energy wristband,
and I got the belt. Yeah, just a little bit of a Mega Man fan.
Teeny bit, a little bit of a Mega Man.
Oh yeah, I got a little crochet. This was actually a friend of mine from Pop Culture actually made this.
Shout out to Pop Culture. Love that store, by the way.
Oop, if I don't nail the microphone,
I sold them like half their inventory.
Yeah, and she
FYE
puts these on here.
Buy our clearance stuff.
Nice. So, I still don't believe this. Who did the Renegades kidnap? Gamer Brony, we didn't kidnap anybody.
We kidnapped them. They're here at our place now.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true. Help! Send help! We need help! Oh my God! But
I'd be cool with living here. It's pretty boss here. So.
Oh, dude, I love it here. Love the studio. Love the space. Love the people working here, and I just love the creative energy.
Wait a minute. He says Ben is a massive Battle Network fanboy. So have I met Ben yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. So. Okay, he's a Battle Network fanboy. I don't know how I feel about that one,
well,
Ben.
Battle Network. Well, he's a Mega Man fan, but he says the Battle Network games are the ones that he's probably played the most.
Whoa, that's actually very rare for Mega Man fans to say that because most Mega Man fans are just like, nah.
Well, they're
not bad games.
Well, he likes the turn-based combat a lot more than it's how his tastes evolved.
Yeah, I like my old 2D RPGs for Super Nintendo, like Lufia 1 and 2.
That's fair.
It's all turn-based, runs very smooth, and it's awesome. But, when it comes to Mega Man, I don't know about the turn-based Mega Man.
That's fine.
Even the Mega Man X one was a little rough.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. It was just different.
Well, everyone's got their tastes. I mean, me, I prefer the original Mega Mans as well. I prefer, probably the X series because it's just a lot more smooth and there's just a lot more there.
Oh yeah.
But that doesn't mean I need to throw out the originals. I mean, hell, I'll play the originals all day, every day.
Actually, my favorites are X 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, really?
I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's actually I would say probably X4 is my absolute favorite. Then X3, then X1, then 2, and then 5 and 6.
4 is usually a lot of people's favorites because of like the technical aspects.
Well, I think it was the smoothest playing Mega Man X game there was. I mean, very simplistic, straight to the point. It didn't have a lot of complex menus. It really had badass cinematics in it too, with the animated cutscenes. If you've ever seen them, cheesy voice acting, but man, as a kid, I was like, "This is so awesome." And then X5, it turned into a comic book, and then X6, it was a comic book, but Japanese. So it was like, what is going on here? Why did they cut my cinematics out instead of making them better?
It's creative choices that sometimes make sense, sometimes they don't make sense, or budget. Budget plays a lot into it as well, but. we've been here, and actually, the person who's actually operating the cameras and the audio and everything, that's your.
That is
lady
Lavina.
friend.
She
Lavina.
is sitting there hitting the switches. She's actually behind the computer on this one. So
Yes, so she's operating it and doing a damn good
Hi,
job. May I say
Lavina.
so? Thumbs
Yeah,
up.
Yep, see thumbs up there.
Metal horns.
Yeah, Nick always gives the metal horns. I give a thumbs up or a peace out, but
Yep.
but he's always just like
I feel it in the metal horns. I like
Yeah.
that.
This is, I'll be honest, this is pretty awesome because this is why I built this set, was I wanted to be able to do like live streaming stuff, podcasts, this kind of stuff. And so having you guys here, being able to finally make my dream come true, it's pretty awesome. I'm not going to cry.
Don't get emotional.
No,
right now.
don't. Well, it's fun. No.
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm just
Abby
kidding.
Ogle says, Roan, Ruby fan. I like this guy. So, that's
Why,
cool.
thank you.
So,
He says my favorites are
What
classics.
was that name?
yeah.
Classic 6, Legends
Shale.
1, and the entire ZX series. Those are all very good. Big Legends fan. I've actually got Mega Man Legends tattooed, because you're not going to be able to
Yeah.
see it with the camera, and Mega Man X and Zero tattooed on here. But Legends has
Those
got
are
a
awesome
special
tats,
place in
man.
my heart.
Those
And
are awesome tats, by the way,
Yeah.
dude. Very cool.
Long live Legends 3. Long live Legends 3. It is out there somewhere in existence.
Yes. Somewhere out there where Mega Man X. Why?
There's even rumors that there's a playable demo out like that hit shelves and stuff like that. So it's one of those like mysteries. It's like,
Yeah,
is it really out there?
Yeah, it's like the Polybius.
Well, I mean, they had the
thing.
game pretty much completed before it got canceled. So kind of like
Same thing. Star Fox 2.
Yes.
Star Fox 2.
Star Fox 2 eventually did get released, but where it was rushed. I mean, if anybody's played Star Fox 2, it's not that great of a game.
I have played it and I had fun, although
I
beat it
had
too
my
quickly.
nostalgia.
I beat
goggles
it
on,
too quickly.
so-
I beat it
but
way too quickly.
It was just it was clunky. I thought,
Yeah, the special effects chip was pushed to its literal breaking point
with the first one.
with the first one,
Yeah.
and the second one they didn't have time to implement everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just wasn't as
Still not got to play the second one yet. But
ah.
I did definitely play the first one. I got lucky. It was one of those things where my granny went to buy me a game for Christmas.
Oh, lucky
and
you.
she just happened to get like a banger like Star Fox, just all based off, I guess, the cover
Yeah.
of it and everything. And I
Yeah,
was
she
like,
saw the
"This
fox
game is
standing
awesome."
there looking all epic,
I
and
was
she's just
excited
like,
for
I
the
wonder if
classic on
Nicholas will like this.
On the classic, when they announced that they were having Star Fox 2, I was like, is it the same version that I played? Because we had played one on, the ROM websites that had been released years before that, and I was like, is that really that shitty game that that's coming out? And then when I played it, I was like, yep, that's the same game. I was
Yep.
like, damn. I say shitty. I just didn't. I thought it was kind of broken, but I get it.
Well, yeah.
You had Star Fox 64 and then 64 projects coming out like a year later. Why would they really push Star Fox 2 for Super Nintendo?
Well, I understand, and you know what would have been a really cool thing?
What?
I know it might have been impossible, but I would have hidden Star Fox 2 somewhere in the N64 Star Fox and like had it as if you found that secret area
Yeah.
and you flew your ship in, like all of a sudden screen would go black and
Yeah,
then Star
but
Fox
not.
2 would start up.
Yeah, I don't think they thought that way. Like,
No.
Different times of video games.
I've just played the new Doom too much and all the classic Doom levels hidden everywhere. It's just like,
That was
oh
pretty
man.
cool.
Oh, that was awesome. I
think
love
that
that.
I honestly, full discretion, I am much later in the whole gaming thing. I think one of my first games was Doom, I think Final Doom on PlayStation.
Nice.
And so I remember that was when I was probably 6 or something playing that.
Gosh.
And being able to go to those missions again in the newest Doom, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, my first system I ever played on was the NES that my Uncle Steve brought over to my grandparents' house when I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I played the original like Mario, like Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3. They actually had like the triple collection, and I played all 3 of those to completion.
Yeah, that's All Stars.
You had the
yeah.
same origin as me, basically, because my cousin gave me an NES when I was 3.
Nice.
And had Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, and then played a lot of games with my next door neighbor. My mom dug my sister's old Atari out of the closet, so I got to play Pac-Man and stuff like that. And then later on, the point where I realized that like I loved video games was when I went to Toys R Us and I got to pick out something for my birthday, and they had a display with a Super Nintendo on it, and Super Metroid was the game that was playing on it. And I was just like, whoa. I was like, this game is sick.
Yeah. Actually, I'm seeing some comments here. Most likely available in Japan. I think they were talking about the Mega Man Legends 3.
Yeah, well, it was supposed to be a release on the DS, and then they was going to take everything and revive it, and it fell through too.
Man.
But there was rumored that with some other games, it was a package deal, and there's a demo or a not for resale disc.
Yeah.
And then they pulled them all back. So I don't know what happened to that, but I've heard that there's possibly some in existence. It could be just rumors for all I know, but
yeah.
Then we got Autistic Gamer 95.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, dude.
Yeah, happy birthday, bud. Happy
you have a good
birthday, and here's your birthday shout out.
Happy birthday to you. Oh,
And Chris is.
Oh no, we can't.
oh no, I was gonna let you start it. He's gonna have a crescendo come in here as we all rise and get louder.
Yeah, actually, we can do like when they do it like the chain restaurants, like happy birthday, happy birthday,
this is so
birthday
awkward.
from the Shoney's gang. Hey,
super cringe.
This is
exactly.
Rip Toys R Us.
It's like,
yeah,
because
it
Rip
makes you
Toys R Us.
uncomfortable just to
like
be there,
everybody-
even if you're not with.
They come
that
out
group.
with that shit. They start singing, and then everyone feels obligated to like shut the fuck up so they can.
Yeah.
they can sing.
Yeah, so they can like gawk at you.
Now we
just like,
gotta applaud.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
yay, person I don't know.
Yay!
Cool.
So, also, I'm seeing here. Let's see, Autistic Gamer, and then there was.
Chris
didn't
is
say
obsessed
for-
with the armor.
Happy
in the
birthday,
back.
Autistic Gamer 95.
Yes.
So
He didn't say it. If they'll be reacting to the episode Volume 6 or not.
I
Right
think it would be
now,
a good time for
unsure.
an announcement about
Right,
that.
right. Okay. So here's the one thing that's happening. Ever since we started doing Ruby, we've done it with Micah, and Micah is taking a extended hiatus from the channel because of personal reasons, and we do not feel comfortable moving on without Micah being involved. With
I'm
that.
not caught up. I'm only on
And
season
also-
3.
Yeah.
Kyra hasn't seen any of it. Like
It'd just be
and
awkward,
then-
just all having us sit down and watch Volume 6.
Yeah.
Just watching Kyra, like seeing her face, she'd just be like, I don't know what's going on. Because there's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack in 6 volumes.
Yeah.
And you can't just sit there and just be like,
The
I know what's going on.
The not the last episode, but the episode before that definitely laid out some information. Though that was
Okay.
last few overall pretty.
Well, that's what I've heard. I follow Murder of Birds. By the way, shout out to Murder of Birds. Awesome Ruby reactor. He's probably the most famous one because Rooster Teeth actually reacted to his reaction, which was funny as hell. Like hearing Miles and all of them just like talk.
Yeah.
Just be like, I can't believe he's getting this. Okay, he got that wrong. So that's so it's just like. Wow,
Those guys are pretty cool. Like I said, I went to I was a Guardian at RTX 2018.
Yeah,
they're some pretty cool guys.
Yeah,
they're pretty chill. They're not. Yeah, there's obviously. I don't know. It was fun. I love it. It was cool.
I almost thought you guys were on the RT podcast set. Nice to meet you, new friends.
Yes.
Says Mikey Silverlance.
Very good observation. When I constructed the set, the RT podcast set was very much a direct inspiration of that. So,
Yeah.
yes.
So and plus you've sort of peppered it with your own different varieties of spices.
These lamps, I had bought these lamps for my room a while back.
Yeah.
But then I realized after I started, looking at the RT podcast and stuff, that these are the same lamps that had the old set, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And,
gotta have those in.
and as you can see, we actually have some posters back here. Halo 5 Guardians. We also have Overwatch over here, and then we also have Call of Duty Infinite Warfare behind Roan back there, and then we also have this awesome set of armor back here. It's you all have a full
Mark
prop.
III Centurion
There you
combat class or something.
Nice.
I don't know.
You all have your own costume shop here and your own prop room and everything where you hand make a lot of the stuff.
That's the advantage of having elementary school, that it's got like 25 classrooms. And you can kind of just turn
doing anything.
each room into something. And so one of them is
props,
our workshop.
wardrobe,
And so,
workshop, engineering lab.
We got a
sound
mini
studio.
gun thing that we built in there.
And 5 sound stages.
Which, by the way, this guy cannot stop talking about that sound studio. He's just like, I'm so envious right now.
Yeah, we've definitely it's not so much that we have unlimited money to work with. It's more of we've gone as cheap as we possibly can with like things like Gov deals and Craigslist and things like that, just trying to get as good a deal as we can. We've scored on a lot of stuff, so including this building.
Union Jack the Ripper is here, and his first comment: "What the hell?"
I was about to say, I'm loving the reactions of people as they come in, and they're just like, "What is going on?"
Yes, we are here in the new place. This is going to be hopefully a weekly thing we're going to be doing called Renegades Ramble, where we come in. Hopefully, so if some guests are interested in popping up and sitting in here with us and talking with us about certain things, but we just come on here, we ramble, and we talk about subjects and stuff But this is our first episode, so we're kind of getting the ropes down for everybody. Introducing everyone to our new friends and compatriots here who are joining us, and this is their awesome studio, and we just want to have this pretty much be an introduction to everyone who is now involved with us. And
I have a friend now. I'm so happy.
Woo, friends!
Hey.
My friend base has gone from +3 to +5.
So this is Ben guy. Does he do speedruns at all?
Ben, he does not. He more focuses on the technical runs. He wants to max everything out.
Oh, you have to on the speedruns. They're 100% anyway.
Well, some people when they say speedruns, sometimes it's just from beginning of game to the end.
No, I always do the 100% speedruns, which means you have to have all the heart tanks, all the sub tanks, and all the health. And now you can use armor combinations that you want, like on X3 and up. Mm-hmm. You can change the different armor combinations. Some people do the Hadouken on X1.
Yes.
But you don't have to waste your time going through all that. You can actually beat it faster. It just saves you a lot of time because you can one-hit the bosses on when you have to fight all 8 bosses again. Mm-hmm. If you one-hit each one of them, then you don't have to. It's a lot of time. It just chunks out.
Yeah, but, the Hadouken is like game breaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
And it's awesome.
But it's almost game. I mean, it's kind of game breaking to get the damn thing too. Cause if you fudge it up once, you're pretty much got to start all over, and then you just ruin the whole speed run. And you have to get that pretty much right before you start the Sigma stages. So
there you are. So
it's nuts.
The closest thing I've done to speed running is I can any percent Super Metroid in one sitting, and usually about an hour. But it's not really a legit speed run. I don't really fudge anything very much. But sometimes, occasionally, I'll just be like, you know what? I don't remember where the grapple beam is, so I'm just going to shine spark.
Well, it just got to where I'd beat them so many times as a kid that I was like, I wonder if I can beat this super fast. And I looked online, the speedrunners, and I seen that. And I was like, oh, whoa.
Holy crap.
Holy crap. What's this SDC that they're talking about? /- cancel. Mm-hmm. And then R&D, and then your sequence breaking. I was like, what is all this? But when I just watched it and learned it, and then sometimes you can develop your own little strategies with it, too, if you think it's faster. But
the thing that freaks me out is the dudes that do frame perfect skips and stuff.
That's what I'm talking about. You have to on certain things.
I don't have the patience to try that so much to get good enough to do that kind of stuff.
That's what I'm saying. I don't either, but when I've done it so much as a kid that I already know what he's talking about. And I'm just oh yeah, because you're not supposed to make certain jumps. They're not even designed for you to be able to catch the ledge and lift up. So when you're wall jumping off of it, and you can control your trajectory to go back one frame just enough to hit it. And it's very impressive watching people do that, especially when they get it first time every time.
Yeah.
It's they've played it probably a couple thousand times. So do that. So
I've watched people just learning it, and it's they'll just didn't get it, and just redo it over and over. It's got it that time, all right, and it's you'll see it gradually get better.
It'll become muscle memory after a while.
You have to replay the same part so many times.
For me, it's like wave dashing in Smash Bros. Yeah. I couldn't get it at first, but then all of a sudden, whenever I saw got the hand movements down, it's just okay, hey, I'm doing it, back, forth. All right.
The neon shot is one of the hardest things I've ever had to learn in the game. So when you basically charge a full blast, you get rid of the big one. Then while it's got the neon, you jump, double jump, hit the neon, dash into it, and jump off of it.
Oh.
Within 3 frames. It's boom, real quick. And if it has
perfect movements.
Yeah, you have to get that frame perfect, and then it allows you to do all that twice. So you can jump extremely high places that you would not supposed to even get to yet.
Nice. So I'm seeing some comments here. Let me Union Jack the Ripper books flight to Tennessee. I'm coming. Stock the fridge with vanilla Coke and be ready for me. I'll be on the show. Hey, if you can get here, Union.
On down, man.
All about that. Also, you have truly grown, Nate. Well done. Thank you, Darcy Brooker. I'm not sure if that's a fat joke or not, but hey, either way, I don't mind. Because then Micah would be playing with the armor. Actually, Micah flipped out when he saw this armor a little bit. He like came around, started touching it, like looking at it and feeling the panels and everything. He's just like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Dude,
Micah has been here.
They have a machine shop, and he was just like, oh.
Yeah.
when he saw it.
I'm almost tempted to go get that minigun.
He made the same face in the machine shop that I did in the sound studio.
Ron built a
room.
minigun basically out of electrical components, paintball gun barrels, and a power drill.
That's right.
And
awesome.
some weight machine equipment too.
Yeah.
And some
Big
random
hodgepodge, but
random
it
metal
sells.
plates that look cool.
Yeah,
and then
it
you just
all
kind of stick it on
sells.
there.
Are we allowed to talk
Kills
about the
the
different things you
Oh,
guys have here?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, by and large, yeah.
So one of the things is like the most
like
impressive
this,
that I was just like, whoa, when I saw it. Is like right across from here, there's basically the elementary school gym. And I knew they had a green screen room, and it was supposed to be pretty big. And I walked in, and I was like, "Oh man, that's a pretty big green screen." Oh, it keeps going. Oh, it keeps going.
Big.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
it's the whole gym.
The school's gymnasium was probably about 50 foot by 75 foot, and so we knew that was going to be our main studio, and so we basically built a 60 foot by 30 foot in depth, 60 foot wide, 30 foot in depth, and 15 foot tall green screen. And it's big enough to get large productions on. So.
It's legit.
Christopher Sherman Dill asked, "Can we get a tour of the place?" Absolutely.
Well, yeah.
Basically, maybe we got some links to the page or something.
Well, yeah.
We can,
if you all actually their YouTube channel, I've linked their YouTube channel in the description. I actually forgot to link your all's website.
But Primordica.com. That's Primordica.
Yeah, let me actually put that. Let me actually Primordica. There we are, and I'll copy this, and then I will share it on select all, copy, and then I will post it here on the live chat. So hey. There we go. Let's see.
I was going to say, we could do like a walkthrough video at some point if you guys want to.
Yeah, that's
We've been meaning to do that with our new house for forever, too, though. We still haven't done that.
Yeah, so there we are. It's Primordica.com. That is their website. You can get a full tour, a full photo tour of the place. And if you all want us to do like a walkthrough and like on our channel and show you all what they have here.
We can do a little fun video.
Absolutely. That'd be fun.
I know Rooster Teeth did like a little tour video thing where there's like a parody.
God, with Bernie.
I showed him
Bernie about losing his damn mind.
Yeah, I showed him that. He laughed his ass off.
Bernie's just like that homeless guy's like asking.
Not crazy, man.
Yeah, he's like do you think he looked sick? I think he looked sick. and then Gus is just and with Gus Sorolla overseeing podcasts and opens it up, and Gus is like talking to the homeless guy. He's like, I told you have my money here at the end of the week. And then,
hey man, my wife's pregnant.
My wife's pregnant. Was just in a car accident, man.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Yeah, dude, I love Roosties.
So
I am definitely a fan.
Will you guys ever make sketches? We've actually discussed with them the potential of us doing like short film, doing funny film shorts and stuff like that. And me and Nick actually came up with a funny one on our way on our way back home last time we were here.
I wouldn't spoil it yet.
Though. No, we're not going to give that away. You know, got to save some suspense for y'all out there.
I actually have other ideas too. I mean, like I said, I've been having ideas since I saw the place. So like anything they're cool with doing, like we can definitely try to work on. So it's just like I said, it's like a creativity factory. It's like the Willy Wonka of creativity, basically. Like instead of candy, it's like there's so many things you could make.
It's creativity.
Really cool.
It's
just delicious.
You can almost hear the Willy Wonka theme song when you walk in. It's like, "Come with me, and you'll be in a world of primordic imagination."
Oh no.
You give me ideas, I'm gonna get copy.
Oh yeah, well I'm probably gonna get claimed just for that, given how YouTube's been with us.
Probably.
Fuck you, Sony Music of Japan. Anywho,
actually, Primordic Studios is tagged in the link.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good. So so what we've done. So what? Once again, what we're doing here is we are making We're hoping that this leads to good stuff in the future. And Uh-oh, I see another figure in the
Oh, we
in
got
the
the
booth.
we got the host in
we
here
got the
now.
head honcho.
no.
You want to come be on the internet?
Hey,
Mr. Boss.
the boss
would
is
you
here.
like to come and speak, Boss?
Yeah, would you like to?
I don't think he wants to.
I think the champ is
Oh,
here.
he's saying
Yeah.
he's saying we're weird. Okay.
Oh, come on.
said
Hey, that's the point. That's the point. If we weren't weird, no one would pay attention to us.
Yeah.
You want to take my seat? Or you
Hey, you want to have a seat? Come on. Come on. Yeah, we got
Take a
people in the
seat
chat.
right here in the middle here.
Micah, have you returned? No, Micah has not returned. And oh, gosh.
Oh, y'all are trading
Roan,
seats.
easy.
I got that logo in there.
Yeah?
It's like the hook just
like,
came off the side and pulled him off.
And then you gotta get shot too. So
Oh, come on.
Yep.
So, all right.
Gotta catch 'em
So,
up.
ladies and gentlemen, this is Ron. Ron is the leader of this whole thing here. The head honcho of the podcast or of the sets and everything here. He's pretty much the overseer.
yep.
And
He's the,
he makes final calls and all that. So, hey, you want to? We have a lot of people watching, man. If you want to tell people about,
Didn't even bust the mic, sorry.
yeah, if you want to.
We actually had somebody ask me
let's
what
take a
was
vote.
this place.
Do you
So
think he's my father or my older brother? Let's go ahead and see.
Yeah. So,
As far as how we got here, what was the process?
yeah,
or
yeah. Well,
just
if
what
you
I'm
want to
trying
discuss,
do?
yeah, if you want to discuss, what led you to create the studio, what led you to want to do want to do this.
Basically, I was an ROTC instructor, and
Mm-hmm.
I was faced with the teaching students. Basically, by the time you get them in high school, they've already determined what they're good at and what they're not good at, and it goes back to around 4 or 5 years of age. And somebody said, "Hey, that was a good picture," and sticks, and puts magnets on it, puts it on the wall,
Yeah.
or on the refrigerator, and but they rule out everything else. And so I'm trying to get these students to understand that basically it comes down to the amount of time and effort you put into it.
Yeah.
But we all follow that path. And so anyway, long story short, why I wanted to play the guitar. I always considered myself not musically inclined, so picked it up and determined that there will not be failure, even though I fell all throughout. But I'll change my perception of it. Mm-hmm. Started playing the guitar, realized I could play. What else can I do? Why not make a movie? Bought a green screen, a little camera, a Vegas studio software, and saw how easy it was. And then it was a matter of finding the opportunities. And one of the opportunities is this elementary school, former elementary school, 37,000 square feet.
And that's
And I was the only one that bid on it. It was a government auction, and I got the building and 7 acres for $110,000. And
$110,000, and you get this awesome building and
20 classrooms, a gymnasium, library.
how many buckets of blood, sweat, and tears?
Yeah,
that's the other question.
that's where where it turned from Fields of Dreams, kind of Kevin Costner type movie, to The Shining.
It's like a lifetime of work.
the thinking behind it turned into having to do all the stuff on our own.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole lot of creativeness and pain and suffering.
Yeah.
And so it's a pretty reclusive lifestyle we live up here.
Yeah. Well, of course. I mean,
It's hoping to come out of that now that we're opened up and
well, yeah.
so.
And you're from this area. You're you're originally from this area?
Originally from Atlanta area.
Oh, okay,
I did
Atlanta
20 years in the Marine Corps, and
Okay.
then last
Well,
9 of the last 11 were down in Asheville area.
okay. And I like me. I've lived in this area my entire life. The Appalachian Mountains. And a studio like this, like with everything that is here, I never in a million years would have imagined it would have became a reality. And then I heard about your all studio, and me coming here and seeing it, just blown away and baffled by the amount of work that you've thrown into this place, the amount of love I feel whenever I look at how detailed you all are with everything that you all do, and I'm just excited to see what is possible. As a matter of fact, we got a bunch of comments down here. Union Jack the Ripper says, bows to Ron. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. We suck. And then, of course, there's also Bronco Billy saying, Ron is God. Ron is God. And then also,
Definitely, thank you.
Azure Ryuga says, art is love, art is life.
Yeah.
And then Abby Ogle's just like guitar. Ron is definitely cool. And then I'm also seeing a bunch of stuff down here.
I like the audience.
Oh yeah. Well, the audience, we got a lot of really cool people that tune in and are like dedicated fans on our Discord and everything. You know, we talk to them avidly whenever we do like gaming live streams and stuff like that. And we're happy that you decided to stop by and check. You didn't have to come on here, but you did, and like we're very happy that you did, so that people can be introduced to everybody who is the spearhead of this awesome studio and organization.
The man behind the magic.
Yes, the man.
I definitely appreciate you having me on here.
Hey man, I appreciate it.
Giving up the seat to him now, or
if you
man.
Hey,
Hang out as long as
hey,
you
if you
want.
want to sit there, if you want to keep the seat and just keep him standing there permanently. I mean,
I'll bid
it's
you
up
farewell.
to you, man. All right,
you're good.
thank you,
Appreciate
Ron.
it, man.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, Ron's just gonna step over your shoulder, and just be like, "How you doing? What's
Jesus
up?"
Christ, these things are strong.
Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Ron, that was the president, head honcho of this whole place. So, yeah. What's this about voices? Oh gosh, has any of the crew ever been to Australia?
I have not.
I've heard a lot of really good and a lot of really scary things about Australia. Honestly, I'd be afraid to go.
I would love to go to like Sydney and stuff, or I don't know. I really don't know what. I mean, I know Australia's got a lot, but I just want to see the stars from Australia. That's one of my goals in life because.
You know what else I'd love to see?
What?
The glowing algae that they have there. You can it's actually algae that reacts to whenever you like drag a stick through it. It like lights up.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it looks like somebody.
It's bioluminescence.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and it's prevalent off the southern coast of Australia and New Zealand.
See, I don't want to go anywhere near the ocean while I'm there if I'm there.
Oh, because
saltwater crocodiles, great white sharks,
box jellyfish.
Yeah, box jellyfish, stonefish. Stonefish sound awful.
Like some
stonefish
big-ass
are basically
leeches.
a fish. If you step on them, there's no real antivenom for the venom that they inject, and it's just like horrible, horrible pain for I think something like 48 hours.
And I've heard the jellyfish are definitely a problem. Those things are always something to look out for.
Box jellyfish.
People usually beg
man-o-wars.
for people to amputate their limbs though if they step on a stonefish. There's like just cut my leg off. Like that's like the caterpillar accidentally touched one time. And
Oh,
stung
that's
my
right.
hand.
Yeah, I did
was like, just
something
cut my
like that,
hand
too.
off.
Yeah,
But,
just
yeah.
take it off, man. Take it off.
I don't like
I'd love to
stings.
see like the inland wildlife of Australia. That'd be awesome.
I'd love
the-
to
the
see the
ocean terrifies
kangaroos.
me.
I'd love to see the kangaroos hopping across the outback. Just see them in droves, and of course going at high speed because I don't want one of them to tackle me and
I'd love
throw
to
me
get,
in their pouch and
I'd
eat
love
me
to
for
get
dinner.
kicked by a kangaroo.
I've witnessed somebody get kicked by a horse.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what a freaking kangaroo would do.
Says you seen the video where the Australian guy punched that kangaroo because
Yes.
it had his dog in the headlock.
I
yes,
did
I
see
have.
that.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, I also
thought it was funny.
another video of a kangaroo like hanging out outside this guy's like big window, and it was
All buffed up.
it was just like what's up, homie? My cousin said you hit him in the head when he had your dog in a headlock. I'm here to collect.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, no, I'm sorry.
memes.
Wrong accent. Wrong accent. G'day, bro. How are you today? See this? This is your destiny. I am pain incarnate, and you're gonna die.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
It's like you got a knife. I got claws, mate.
Christopher Sherman Dill asks, "Would you guys mind if I came to visit sometime?" Absolutely.
Hey, we'll
Bring all the creativity we can in here.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Bobbins. Yeah.
well, in the past, we've had other people from our community visit. We had Hannah, who is not in the chat right now. I haven't seen her. And then we've had Clinton Swaggart, who's actually from Virginia Beach, the Virginia Beach area. He's really cool, and he's come down here a few times. He actually helped us out a lot when we were having like real big problems on the channel, and he helped us out with a few things, and it was really cool. and we love having fans over. And if you all want to come by and hang out with us, and you can come by and see the studio, we can set up a tour and show you all what is here. And if you're here during whenever we're doing a podcast and you want to like sit in on it, hey, why not? I mean, I can think of crazier things in the world.
Yeah.
So,
Slayer is just so confused.
Well, that's the like. I get that because for the longest time wanting to set up our place, I wanted to take a tour of Stage 5 at Rooster Teeth, right?
yeah.
Luckily, I managed to maybe get that opportunity back in 2016. I was also a Guardian at RTX in 2016.
Yeah.
And I met a person, and I'm not going to use any names or anything because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I was able to get in contact with a person there. And I was able to, I told him about the studio, what we were trying to do, and that we were able to, go visit. And it was cool being able to go in there and actually see what they have and compare it to what we have and stuff. And it was interesting because it made me feel better about the direction that we were going.
Well, where you are versus where you can be.
Right.
And
the biggest thing that we lack is like having all the computer systems and everything that we need, and having and especially having the people. We don't have the people yet, but we want to get there. So.
Well, yeah, and there's certain things we can do to ensure that we get stuff that we're capable of getting the stuff that we require. And there's things that we can do in terms of adding to the channel, adding to your all's channel, and making your all like pure profit, like doing pure profit off of YouTube and everything, and getting that going, and then thus we can put out projects that. I hope our fans will like because that's one thing I worry about. It's like we're putting so much time and effort. This is going to be great, and then our fans watch it, and they're just going to be like, "This sucks." It's just going to be like, "Crap." Okay,
well, you just go straight.
You got to innovate.
Straight to the
professionals. You got to gradually build and try new things and stuff to keep things fresh and stuff. So
yeah. Absolutely.
So,
and
you want to talk a little bit about the project? Your project,
well,
or you kind of want to?
Well, okay, I can. I'll reveal a few things. I've probably told a few people about it in the past, but there's a project for a while now I've been working on. I've done multiple rewrites. I believe around 8 or 9 rewrites of the script overall, and I've taken in characters, taken out characters. There's characters I really liked and I really wanted to keep in there, but I felt that they detracted from the overall story and everything. It's a project called The Remnants, and it's actually a stereotypically it's a post-apocalyptic story, and it deals with pretty much the last remnants of humanity after it's been ravaged by a terrible plague. Pretty much a plague has wiped out 90% of Earth's population. And the remaining 10%, out of that remaining 10%, there's out of that remaining 10%, they're pretty much scattered all across the country, and they've formed these little communities that they try and rebuild civilization, and that's why it's called the Remnants, because it's like the remnants of humanity. That's really what it boiled down to. And I've had this project in mind for the last 2 years, and I originally when I came up with it. You all know her, Wyndham. You all haven't met her yet. She's actually really, really cool. She actually just got married. Hey, congratulations! If you're watching this, Wyndham. I've had her in mind for the lead, and actually she read it and was really excited to work on it and everything. And when I actually contacted her not too long ago, and she's very excited to get back into it. But I presented it to Jacob because Jacob, this is more his wheelhouse. You prefer like the post-apocalyptic and
well, it's
stuff
definitely.
like
I'm just gonna go ahead and say I'm a very big fan of Last of Us.
Yeah,
very excited for Last of Us 2. The amount of storytelling, drama, and emotion that was put into a game that was based upon action, and that type of environment is always something I was attracted to and drawn to. And well, if you look at a lot of your post-apocalyptic movies, there's not really too many good ones out there. There's only
not really, no.
There's a lot of them.
And stuff.
Well,
now Book of Eli, that's definitely the setting that I really like. And there's not too many more movies out there like that. I mean, that's done really well. I mean, Resident Evil Extinction. I don't know. Yeah.
The Resident Evil movies after the second one, I was just like, really?
Yeah, it was like I didn't even think they'd make another one after Extinction.
Well, you were wrong 5 times.
Yeah, I know, right? It was like
I haven't. The only thing I've really seen of Resident Evil is Resident Evil 7, like a playthrough of that.
Yeah, that is
So
awesome.
No, that
I'm
game
assuming
is
the
pretty
movies
good.
have absolutely
Nothing.
Yeah, they kind of try to, but it screws it up. So it's
Yeah, like they
what
include
is this?
characters, and the characters like secondary because Paul W.S. Anderson wants to show off how awesome his wife is. Yeah, that's right. Mila Jovovich, the lead actress in it, is married to Paul W.S. Anderson.
It definitely seems like that whole series is kind of about her.
Well,
It
I mean, it really just takes a complete context out of what Resident Evil is and turns it into superpowers and some awesome protagonist that's like, I don't know, and then it gets cloned so many times, and it's I don't know, it just goes so far away from what Resident Evil is.
She gets cloned, and then at the end of that movie, she gains access to all those clones, and is just like, let's take down Umbrella together. Beginning of the very next movie, they retcon it all and kill all the clones except for her. And I'm like, you had one thing that you could have used to have expanded the entire Resident Evil franchise into something that we haven't seen before, and what do?
Yeah,
You wipe the slate clean and just like, hey, we're starting again.
Jack the Ripper said Mad Max is great, even the first one. Yeah, I have to agree. Mad Max is killer good. I've never seen so many stunts. Actually, I don't think there ever has been a movie with that many stunts. I think they had the world record for the most car flips.
Yeah,
and I mean that's with a person in it. Like,
well,
I was
yeah,
like, damn.
And plus, George Miller is a friggin' genius filmmaker. I mean, just the amount of love and care that went into Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
I mean, holy crap! You look at the sound. You look at the amount of sound design work, the amount of costuming.
It was almost overloading the first time I seen it because I remember seeing it in theaters and just. Holy hell, I've never seen so much action all at once, like constantly. And it's like you think it's getting ready to step up, and it's like, no, it doesn't give up. It just continues. And it's like, damn, I could not imagine being on that set, which I think they went to some desert in Africa to film it.
Originally, they were going to do it in a county in Perth, Australia, because it's the one they used in the first 2 Mad Max films. But then there was an unnatural amount of rain that happened, and the dusty like desert looking hills were instead fields of flowers, and George Miller was just like, as interesting as that would be, I don't want to do that. So they went to Namibia, Africa, and they filmed it there, which cost them about a good $40 million in production budget, because they had to scrap everything that they filmed in Australia because the deserts didn't match, no matter how much they color corrected or anything like that. Yeah. So they just decided, let's just start fresh again.
Yeah, they went somewhere in Africa, and I think it was 100 days on set. I think. I mean, that's not including any pre-production. That was just 100-day production on set in a desert.
Yeah, and Tom Hardy, he said that he was really difficult with George Miller because of the amount of work that was being put into it.
Yeah, there's a lot of work when
and Tom Hardy actually he said after the film was over, he may never work with George Miller again because he didn't understand George Miller's vision. But then when the film came out and he saw it, he then understood that George Miller actually had a plan.
Mm-hmm. No, it's the same thing with George Lucas and the original Star Wars. Nobody had any idea, like, what is this movie? We got some talking aliens over here. We got some a tin can that runs around and make noises. It's like, I mean, if you think about it, like, before any of that, nobody knew what his vision was. And, after multiple different cuts of it, it became really awesome. So
yeah. And one thing that we want to do with this project is we want this to sort of be like an introductory point for us doing more serious projects where we actually dedicate more time to it. We're still going to do reactions and stuff like that. I mean, those are easy to do.
Also, there's just a thing where everyone on our reaction videos is always like, you guys talk for a really long time about the most random stuff. And then they're like, why don't you just do a podcast? So, bam, podcast.
Here we are
in all our glory. Yeah. So yeah, and I'm very happy that you all are tuning into this and you all are taking part in this inaugural Renegades Ramble podcast. And I'm also very happy that Ron and Jacob are here with us and we're able to introduce them to you all. I can't state that enough. I probably stated it a few times already.
I appreciate it. I mean, I I'm fucking buzzed as shit off this stuff right now.
Yeah, Ron's drinking.
Things are moving around.
Yeah.
The fun
Yeah.
thing to me is you sound like somebody that I would think would be on a podcast. Like when you talk about stuff, you just sound very like pro and like you've done this 100 times.
He just
before.
listens
I
to a lot
appreciate
of
that.
podcasts.
Yeah, honestly, I'm pretty. What's the word? I can't think of it because I'm too fucking drunk.
He's
now.
he's sophisticated.
I'm no, not that. God, no. I'm pretty chill, but I'm also awkward in a lot of kind of like that kind of like speak. I'm not a good speaker and stuff, and so
Yeah.
this can be considered liquid courage, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely.
It's one of those things. I'm gonna stop talking because
Yeah,
No.
what do you-
I get what you're saying. Ron.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, you don't even know.
Trailing off. Yeah,
You guys get what I'm saying.
yeah, but we get what you're saying.
It's so
Ron.
funny because
Holy
he'll sit
shit.
there and talk
I thought
quantum
Reds
physics
were
and
powerful.
astronomy all day, and then it's like he never gets tongue tied and everything like that.
No,
and
no,
then
no.
he getting drunk and he's like, I can't remember the name of Andromeda, whatever.
I
It's
don't know
like,
if you mentioned the posters up here. I know you went through 'em.
Well, I was actually going to allude into them. If you wanted to talk about them, these characters up here, both the one with the red head right here,
We
and
got
the
one
other one
behind
with
us.
the
Blue tips.
the other one with the blue tips back
And
here.
then some of them sitting on
I'm going
the
to try and
lands as well, if
explain
you can
this
see
as
that.
best I
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
with
go
my
ahead.
current stupor. I've written a sci-fi military novel called Axiom.
Yeah.
I originally wrote the book, and it was about 700 pages, but it's kind of not exactly what I want to do, what I want to go with. So I'm kind of starting from scratch with it, but I've laid out a lot of world building and concept art, as you can see here. This is kind of the character right here is the main character of the story. This is more or less the secondary main character.
Okay.
And so I'm taking a lot of inspiration from Halo and Mass Effect to kind of develop it and everything. But
those are good. Those are good things to go off of.
Oh yeah, those are my two favorite games. I'm not sure which one is the best, but
So, in the comments
always-
it says
it's always kinda
Axiom is Axiom a Wally reference?
no, I don't think so.
Well,
Okay.
actually, it's spelled differently. The Axiom in Wally was the ship, whereas Axiom is.
Well,
I immediately
to be
think
fair, these
Axiom
posters are a
Verge,
little
right?
dated, so
Axiom.
it's spelled AXIOM in the story now.
Okay.
So honestly, it's been a while since I've seen Wally, so I'm not entirely sure.
Well, no. Well,
Right.
honestly, people like name association originally before McDonald's restaurant came out. No one ever thought anything about the guy's person's last name being McDonald's. Now every time you hear someone's last name is McDonald's, it's like, oh, we're like the restaurant. Yeah. and like Wendy's, same thing. It's just like Wendy's. Oh, like the restaurant.
Exactly.
And like whenever people you're gonna have people make comparisons and stuff like that, but eventually, if it gets popular enough on its own, it will surpass the name recognition of something else, and instead people will recognize your project for it.
Yeah.
And that's just how it always goes, because I forget who said it, because it's been a long time since I've read the quote. Nothing is original anymore. and
I mean, it's difficult, dude. I mean,
it is.
The Horizon Zero Dawn, for instance, is a fucking awesome game. I love some of the originality of it, because I mean, it kind of took me by surprise. As far as kind of it was different. I mean, it has that post-apocalyptic feel to it, but it's a completely different, take on it. It was nice to see that new, but there's so many things out there, that are coming out that are just they're too much of the same. In a way. And so
well,
That was like how I got burnt out on zombies for a while.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
Especially zombie films.
There
It was such a flood.
Yeah, and I mean, personally, for me, I mean, with me writing this Axiom set, I respect post-apocalyptic movies. I like Book of Eli and stuff. But personally, I view them as they're so done to a point that it's like, okay, this is kind of depressing. Is this what humanity is going to kind of become? And so with Axiom, I kind of make it. I want it to be a little bit more positive, at least.
I get you, and I've written other stories that deal with go in different directions. The Remnants is just one of them. I actually read another one called Edge of the Universe, where it's actually It actually deals with people who go off into the unknown quadrants of the galaxy and try and find sort of like a new pirate age. Like they go into the unknown quadrants of the galaxy, of the different galaxies, and they try and find riches and stuff like that. And anything you find, you claim reward on it. And it pretty much deals with a whole crew of it. A lot of people will see it and think of Firefly ripoff, and I'm like, hey, Firefly ripped off Outlaw Stars. Shut the hell up. And it's true. Hey, protagonist with the...
When you have the people that constantly claim that such and such is ripping this off, I mean, even for the music industry, everything's...
Oh, my God.
I mean,
think,
it's not
you
really...
have to take it with understanding that, I mean, obviously the ideas are... there's only so far. I mean, everybody has... You want to push the creativity, but there's only a limit to so much, how far you can take something before it becomes too insane and stuff, with the ideas. So, I mean, things are going to kind of be a little bit repetitive, and that's fine.
Well, yeah.
As long as you introduce kind of new ideas or concepts with the story. And so,
and it's through creative thinking processes that you can actually... If you do stumble across something new, something that hasn't been done before, an idea that may have been touched on in the past but wasn't done to its full fruition, then who's to say you can't be the one that shifts the paradigm in that direction and changes like right now, space exploration films right now, the only thing you have is Star Wars and Star Trek, and it's because of the namesake. I mean, there's nothing else in terms of like pop cult, like in terms of like film that deals with stuff like that.
I mean, you have the Martian
not
and stuff.
that
Which is
big.
kinda,
Well, the Martian,
it's obviously it's
At least
more
not that
localized.
big.
These are more like sciencey, like realistic renditions. Are you talking about like as far as action and sci-fi fantasy?
Yeah, action, sci-fi, fantasy, but with a realistic edge, like how Star Trek did, because they go over the science that was available at the time. They had like the Heisenberg compensator, they had exploration. It's just like Outlaw Star has theirs,
and
like
then
they
you
have
got
the
Starship
Munchausen drive.
Troopers.
Oh yeah, Starship Troopers.
Where they bring actual physical guns to fight the bugs, where they can kill them.
Yes.
Instead of bombing the place.
Yes, it's like, wait, what? Yeah, it's like, why not bomb them? You have nukes.
But you know what?
You don't need this planet.
But that's the thing that makes stuff so great, is because you are tying those universes together. Because I mean, Starship, it would be a boring movie if you just watched a ship nuke the planet and that's it. Well, it's kind of like, wait a minute, you know, you need to have some kind of resolve and challenge for them that's in a likable setting, And I thought Starship Troopers, the first one, was, even though it was a little cheesy at parts, that was great.
I mean,
great. Of course, then the series went.
Starship Troopers is an allegory on like the rise of fascism and
it's the rise of totalitarianism.
Yeah, I mean, as far as how that would play out, and obviously like the battle scenes, they're shown so incompetently. Let's just throw all the infantry. We won't provide.
It's basically you're fighting a war like
tanks
Vietnam and World War II, except you're
going
to another planet doing the same thing.
No artillery support, no air support.
That's what I love about starships. When the bugs are able to target the ships and stuff. It's easy for those ships to get hit because space is so small.
Well, yeah.
They could have spread out a little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, just a bit. Yeah. I had actually Edge of the Universe. Actually had a good synopsis written on it. I actually had it as like a massive series that if it were in film format, I'd say it would take at least 9 films to tell the entire story. And it's just like, God, I need to draw this back a little bit. And then in it, I actually, a little bit of a spoiler, but in the original run of it, I actually killed the main protagonist halfway through.
Oh wow!
I
doing the whole character switch.
Yeah,
a lot of people playing Red Dead 2 right now, and it kind of does the same thing.
I wasn't aware, man.
Oh, whoops.
Crap!
Spoiler season's not over. Red Dead 2 just say no.
Oh no!
It's okay. It's okay. God. I figured that's how it would be.
You don't know which protagonist. So.
Something spoiler season is over, but that's kind of.
Of course, it's John. It has to be John.
I'm not saying nothing.
They aren't gonna make you play as Dutch because it makes Dutch sympathetic, and he's an asshole in the first game. But okay. Anyway, I killed the main protagonist halfway through, and actually instead of it being like a character switch to like another person's the protagonist, instead it's everyone else that was involved are now sort of like the deuterotagonists, like they all make up for the lost ground of this one character who's no longer involved. And I thought to myself, is this the right call, killing this character here? Because
you get people attached to that character, then they like the show because of that character. And
Yeah.
once that character dies off, they quit watching it.
it's a whole lot like when Kamina died in Gurren Lagann. A lot of people were upset because
That's why I stopped watching it. That's what I've been trying to say.
Oh,
it
shit.
can make an impact for sure.
I hated that show. like,
So,
I mean,
only
I
character
fucking
he
loved
liked
that
when he
show while he
died.
was alive, and then he dies, and I'm just like,
God.
I give no fucks about this show.
yeah, it's like I don't care anymore.
Just how it goes. It's just how it goes. So, I actually, we were going to talk about certain topics, and one topic we were going to discuss in some fashion or form.
We've obviously proved we didn't really need the topic list all that bad.
Not really, no. It's kind of like
Just
I like
ramble.
it.
Hey, you
Yeah.
named
Hey,
it.
we
Right,
ramble.
Renegade
Yeah.
Ramble.
yeah.
Okay.
And well, one thing I wanted to talk about in certain forms was Fallout 76 and the failure of big game developers to meet what
boy.
their fans expect.
I can tell you right now, money.
Well, of course, money.
Money's the
That's-
only reason that screws up these big projects like that, because they want to go where the money's at. So when they do try to do a different rendition, or also known as like the next gen renditions and stuff, it's a risk. Everything's a risk when they go to it, and you know how risks are. I mean,
Well, yeah.
you're gonna get a diamond or you're gonna get a turd. Usually, you don't get nothing in between. But I've heard both sides of the story on it. Though I've heard some people say they really liked it, and I know some old school fans that's big fan of Fallout and said it was terrible. So
Well, if it's anything to go off the reviews are like in the 50s
yeah,
on it instead of like whereas Fallout 4, which isn't my favorite game in the Fallout series. My favorites in the series are 3 in New Vegas. If it's any indication of that, it's bunk. It's like Fallout 76 is junk because it's got like a 58 on PC and by compare and I've heard people that I trust. I've seen them play the game, and they're just like, there's literally nothing for me to do here. And there's some game-breaking bugs that just cause everything to reset. It's just like, this is terrible. Why would you release this now? Why would you do this to us? Why would you torture us by giving us a franchise that we love and doing this?
Is it? Like,
Reason
I mean,
Jacob already said
I'm not too much into the whole
Yeah.
the Fallout series and stuff. Is it like worse or better than like as far as the whole Mass Effect Andromeda kind of thing? Because I know a lot of
Andromeda
people,
was better.
I know people gave that a lot. I enjoyed the game personally.
I did too.
I noticed a lot of the animation issues, especially like when like Ryder goes with a fucking mouth. You
Yeah,
see the meme
and
on
also
that
and also the
time, but-
it's like, oh, I'm sorry, my face is tired.
Yeah,
It's
some of the animation and line delivery was very clunky, but
Well,
They brought in someone who had no idea how to do animation is the thing. That's
Yeah.
actually what happened.
Yeah,
it was kind of disappointing. But I generally enjoyed the game. I had a little difficulty in finding replayability with it, but
yeah. Only thing-
I'm just trying to gauge it as far as
Well-
so Fallout is the 76 is
Fallout 76 is
doing worse.
a lot like how they did Destiny, except whereas Destiny didn't have any bugs, it just lacked content.
Mm-hmm.
Destiny 1 had a lot more content than what is available in Fallout 76.
That's
And-
sad.
I know. As
Holy
someone
crap.
as someone who played Destiny,
Yeah.
like from launch.
Like, Destiny didn't get, like, amazingly awesome until The Taken King came out, and that was, like, the last thing, basically, almost, that they put out for it. I think it was, like, the last major release on it. And even then, like, I still played all 3 classes from beginning to end, like, max level, and probably, like, I think a month or less. Like, and that was just, like, I was still working a job playing casually and stuff, and didn't have all the time to play it. So, I mean, not many hours worth of, like, gameplay just to go from first level to end level. And, like, for an MMO style game, that's really underwhelming, because usually people get into an MMO and they expect, like, the next, like, 6 months at least of their life is going to be taken up just getting their character, like, up to speed. And,
World of
like,
Warcraft comes to mind on that, right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, WoW is basically at this point in the game, like, almost pushing for people to buy the character boost to just skip the leveling.
Which is really sad because I started playing right before Burning Crusade came out, and man, lots of good memories with that. But a lot of people ask, well, what could Blizzard really do to fix it? I don't think really anybody knows. I think it's just outliving its
Legion. Like, did you play Legion?
Yeah, no, Legion. It's really stepping up the game. I actually have not played that, but
Legion
simply because I
badass.
kind of died out on World of Warcraft.
Yeah, like the new one, Battle for Azeroth is okay so far. But one of the main things is they've gone back and redone their leveling system so that you can sort of pick and choose where you want to level now.
Yeah.
So there's a level scaling system, but they've nerfed the experience gains down so far that the time it takes to go from just like 1 to 60 is now absurd, and then the time it takes to go from 60 to 90
It took me
worse.
probably about 6 straight months to get to level 60 in vanilla. Now it's like I see people getting to max level within like a week, or you can just pay for it and boost your level directly up to. I mean, I think that's kind of ridiculous.
Back down to where it takes way more than a week now, and I think it's because they're pushing for people to buy that boost.
Yeah, well, because there was so much knowledge that came with like all the time that it took to get to max level.
Yeah.
You earned that because you went through hell and back on there to get to that level, and now every 12-year-old, 13-year-old kid jumps on there, and it's all of a sudden it doesn't matter anymore. All that knowledge of where this place is at and how to get here. No, I mean, you teleport to the dungeons just by hitting I, looking for a group, and bam, it ports you there. You don't even have to travel there, And as far as exploration, it's completely taken exploration out of it because there's nothing in the world exploration-wise that's really beneficial other than those dungeons. It seems that dungeons and raids are the only way to get good gear, I mean, if they have stuff hidden out in exploration, people would go looking for stuff, but it's like a chest in Oblivion. There's nothing in those chests, so you don't even have to waste your time looking for them until you get like DLC like Mehrunes dagger and stuff. But you can get weapons better than that just by robbing the store, So, as we all did in Oblivion. It's like let's
it's basically nerfed the social aspect of it too, because
you don't have to find teams or talk to people anymore. You just hit join a random group, and then
you
they
get in
all
a group with them.
other.
You get it done. You don't even have to say bye or anything now and get out because they're from different servers.
You used to have to ask and say, "Hey, would you like to do a dungeon with me? I'm trying to get a group together. I just need a healer," and
Yeah, and you make friends.
Yeah, and you made actual friends, and that's what made your guild so awesome because it was just your friends, and not anymore.
Because my buddy's been playing on a private server with just vanilla recently, and he was like, "I forgot about when you used to run around and you'd be like, hey, like, what's up? Want to help with this quest?" And then they just keep talking to you after.
If you didn't have a social group on there, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Unless you're Leroy Jenkins, in which, just running Leroy Jenkins.
Bringing it back to Fallout 76, my thoughts on it is I've seen a lot of people be like, nobody asked for online Fallout, and then people are like, no, some people asked, and I'm like, actually, I kind of think what people were wanting was not necessarily a really big, like,
an MMO
empty
style.
content MMO style. I think people just want to get on Fallout or the Elder Scrolls and just be able to co-op and do that experience with a few friends.
Yeah.
I'm a couch co-op fan.
Me too.
I'm a big split screen
Couch co-op
fan.
has not got enough love recently.
we
It's
were-
dying out.
We were playing split screen Halo the other
Master
day.
Chief Collection on
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
Me and Zach have
Four-player.
actually talked about doing
I
that.
missed that. The being able to do the 4-player split screen.
Sitting there cussing at each other.
You know, we
I like
should
it.
do that. We should do stuff like because
Do it.
hey, I got an Xbox One and
I got a 70-inch TV.
there we go. Let's do it. Let's
Our
do this
Cuphead
shit.
stream, like, that's one of the most fun streams I've done in a long
Yeah.
time.
I'm sure I'll suck at it. But
Well, it's fine. Hey,
yeah.
Oh, no,
hey,
I'll be
that's
practicing.
why we're there to make up for the
Yeah.
sucking.
I've been practicing. I've been playing a
do
lot of
my-
Halo lately, and
I'm gonna have a whole Rocky montage done in a week.
Yeah,
playing
and,
Xbox.
okay.
da, 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 da. Bring out the little sweat towel, like wipe the sweat from your brow.
Yeah.
Da, da, da.
If I start playing Halo with you guys, I'm going to be the one that rage quits all the time.
Oh, come on. It's not like we're going to be playing on Legendary. We play on Legendary.
Oh, if we're co-oping, hell yeah.
You
that's
don't
fine.
rage quit. You just
If we're just
use
doing,
as
like,
many
multiplayer
expletives
killing
as
each
you
other,
can,
then, like, I'm going to
as
get
many-
mad.
Yeah.
many fucks and shits as it takes to simmer down.
Yeah, and I'm excited because that's another thing we've talked about doing here is we've talked about building a potential dedicated Let's Play office here where we can record gameplay and stuff like that and do more do like a more funny style, and also bringing people to play games with us and stuff like that. Like,
Oh, dude, I would be excited because, like I said, that was one of the things that I was like, yeah, we got to try this, but I didn't know how to do it. So,
well, yeah, and
it would be exciting to have you guys here doing that stuff.
Well, yeah, and I'm excited to work with y'all. I mean, everything, like, we work together, we get better. We can improve each other, and that's like iron sharpens, or is it steel sharpens steel or iron sharpens iron? I forget. But
don't know on that one. Don't know.
Well, I believe it's steel sharpens steel.
It's a very medieval metaphor, so to speak.
Well, yeah.
I figure iron would dull steel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, while you're all figuring it out, I'm just going to take a big war hammer and just crush it.
Yeah, here we are, being philosophical about the grindings of iron and steel. Meanwhile, you come in just like troll bash all of us with a friggin' massive warhammer, and we're all just like still laying on the ground. It's just like, so would iron do the steel? And then you're just like, shut the hell up! Just squish.
Just get
heavy object. Heavy object crushes squishy mortal.
Yes.
Yeah, in a fantasy world, that would definitely be I would be swinging around with a warhammer. I don't do the sword thing.
I'm the wizard.
I suck at fighting like any kind of moves or anything, so I'm pretty sure just big, heavy swings that are not
so
very
you'd be our
well
tank.
recovering.
You'd be our
exactly.
Tank. If we were playing Overwatch, you'd probably be Reinhard.
Probably. Yes.
And
I'm actually a Pharah main.
Pharah?
I played a lot of Tribes 2 and Tribes when Tribes Vengeance came out, and then Tribes Online. I was always really good at, I don't know what it is about, I can't snipe for shit. For my precision's not quite that good, but anything projectile based has like a little delay in an explosion. So, yeah, I can rock that stuff.
Sick toss.
Empty.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm all out.
Yeah, me, I'm a big time attacker. I love McCree, Genji, and I do good as a healer too.
So you are good at precision, I see.
Well, I can be. It depends on the mouse I use, because I switched over to a wireless mouse. Mm-hmm. And
DPI's a little different on the wireless.
It is. But now that I've adapted to it, I don't want to. I can't switch back.
Can't switch back.
Yeah.
I have
like,
to use just a regular corded mouse. Nothing fancy. I let mine low to the ground. I set my sensitivity at 5, and I use my arm, my whole arm, instead of just my wrist, because your wrist doesn't have the muscle memory that your arm does. So when it comes to those pulls and the real fast snapshots, precision is a lot better in your arm.
Yep.
That's what he does.
He's about to call me out for my pickiness with the mouse setup. Because the first time when we streamed, I come to his house and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta go back to my house and get my mouse pad, because he's got this little mouse pad. And I come back and I set mine down. Mine's about this big. I turn the sensitivity way down, and he's like, Jesus, that's low. And I'm just like, yep.
And then the people watching are like, wow, your sensitivity's high. I'm like, nope, it's about as low as it goes.
Yeah. Me. I do like the small movements like this. Yeah. That's what I'm good at. Like the long movements. That's just.
And it depends on the character that you're playing to and what type of precision you're wanting. Too.
Yeah.
So
the thing is when you have your sensitivity low, your long movements are just to turn around and stuff like that. They're not to aim. Yeah. Then when you get to your small movements, you're even more precise. So that's how you just, you get it set to where you're comfortable with it, and then you play with it, you move it up and down. You have a certain point where you can actually just click on heads, because you'll get it to where, there's a guy there, pow, right in the face.
What are your thoughts on Rareware being bought by Microsoft? Didn't that happen a long time ago?
Yeah, well, they were originally a subsidiary. Now they're been fully.
I thought they got bought out during the launch of the 360 with.
Let's look at that.
My thoughts are, if they'll make a new Perfect Dark game that doesn't suck, then I'll be interested. Otherwise,
I was hyped. I was hyped a little bit for Perfect Dark on 360, and the multiplayer was all right, but it was.
I love Perfect Dark.
Kind of
so
everybody was all GoldenEye, and I was just like, dude, Perfect Dark. It's like the multiplayer.
Rare
was so
worked
much
on
fun
quite a bunch of stuff. They even developed a lot of stuff for Nintendo back in the SNES days.
Banjo-Kazooie was good too, but they apparently just can't get it right again for some reason.
Actually,
they tried a couple times. I think.
According to this, Microsoft Studios has owned them since 2002.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Now Obsidian was just acquired by Microsoft. Obsidian was bought from Bethesda, and now they work for Microsoft, because Microsoft is really trying to pad out their first party developers.
Well, they're going to have
Is
to
Obsidian
compete
the
with
ones that
Sony
made New
because
Vegas?
Sony's first-party developers are kicking ass.
Well, of
you know
course
what I'm saying?
they got Sony Santa Monica, they got Naughty Dog, they got Insomniac.
Hideo's doing.
Oh yeah, Hideo Kojima and Fox,
exclusive for
Fox
PS4.
Production or Kojima Productions. They're working on
Yeah.
Death Stranding,
If
which
you have Kojima, then everybody else has to try 300% harder to
Yeah,
match.
yeah, it's one thing.
creativity
Hopefully, it
pretty
doesn't
much.
end up like with the Mega Man series with Keiji Inafune though too, because Keiji Inafune left Capcom, kind of like
well,
I
Kojima left.
well the problem
Yeah,
with
but
Mighty
I
Number
think
Nine,
Hideo
Mighty
just
Number Nine
stands
was
on his
the
own.
was the dev. The
Yeah.
dev didn't know what the hell they were doing, and
Yeah, that's a
Nafune, I
total
think if he had like full control over development, it would not have been that bad.
Yeah, of course. The thing about it is, it's like, Keiji Inafune, he does a lot of the art, the story, and a lot of people consider him the godfather of Mega Man. But
Oh, yeah.
really, it's you got to give a lot of credit to those early developers of
Oh, yeah.
making a game like play that smooth. And it's something I tried to replicate on Unreal Engine 4. I tried to make a rendition that played like Mega Man X, and that is some very complex. Especially with the new blueprint system on Unreal Engine 4, as opposed to doing it with code. I was even trying to like copy and paste some old style codes that other people had made. Nothing was happening to get that the dash jump correct.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous to get the amount of projectile movement in there. And so when I play Mighty Number 9 and its dash system's a little different, it actually kind of played really smooth, but I don't know, just something's not about it, and the story just didn't hold up. I mean,
Well,
For the amount of money they raised, it was a very disappointing game
Yeah,
compared to what it should have been and
Yeah.
what it was.
yeah,
and I wish
I wish it
they
was.
would quit focusing as much on the original Mega Man series and original Mega Man knockoffs as focus on Mega Man X. That's what the fans want. They after they discontinued X8, everybody wants an X9.
Yeah.
When Capcom did their I guess announcement for Mega Man 11, everybody was asking, what about Mega Man X9? It's kind of like, we've seen enough Mega Man games that are jump and shoot. It's time to get more complex with it. And
jump and shoot, man.
yeah,
We should
jump and shoot.
check out Unity sometime and see what we can do with Unity, because Unity's supposed to be a really good independent game development engine, and I know Unreal's one of the major make.
Well, the
modern
thing about it
games
is I've
systems, but-
got like 15 years of Unreal Engine experience,
Yeah.
and so going to another game engine now would be just like relearning everything I've ever learned,
Yeah.
And I know like C++ will
Some of it
still be the
crosses
same,
over,
but
though, but
yeah,
Well-
yeah, a lot of it will.
Well, the thing about Unreal, both Unity and Unreal 4 is that they're both free. They're both free to dev on. The only
So,
thing
if
is
we
that
get in there and we mess around with it and we're just like, nah, we may as well stick with Unreal, then we can. But if not, then we're like, maybe
Yeah, I
we
don't
can
think
make
there's
some work
really
with it.
too much of stuff in there that's exclusive to the engine that, hey, I have to use Unity to do this particular function. I think
Yeah.
you can pretty much
So
do
basically, the
whatever
main thing I
anyone-
just keep hearing about it is how user friendly it
Yeah.
is. So-
Unreal Engine 4 is pretty user friendly. Basic stuff and then advanced stuff, it gets really complex. But it depends on if you're doing anything animation wise, it's very, very difficult. That's why most people do their animations in 3D
Max
models and other
stuff like
stuff.
that.
Yeah,
'cause
like-
building that in Unreal would just be ridiculous.
That's exactly what we did in college
the-
in my game design classes.
The concept art that I used here, I used Daz Studio for it, and then I brought it into After Effects to just kind of do the last minute stuff. But that and 3ds Max stuff, that's what I typically use. I need to get more familiar with Unreal and Unity.
Well, yeah,
for that end part of the process and stuff.
well, honestly, it depends. Well, for me, when I heard about game development of like 3D technology and stuff like that, going back into earlier, you were listening to the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, and I was talking about this. It got me thinking about the guy who did the design on Gollum in the Lord of the Rings. He did not know how to use the digital stuff. He actually did a crash course and learned how to use it just for the Lord of the Rings films. Like, he actually had like a full costume made and everything for Andy Serkis, and they were just like, no, we're gonna go digital. It's gonna be a lot cheaper and all that. And he learned it in, I think, like a month. He did a crash course in a month, and by the end of that month, he was.
Sometimes is what it is.
Well,
man.
the thing
A
about
lot
it
of
is,
times-
I'm a big fan of doing stuff traditionally. But
of course.
with certain masks, you can't see certain expressions on their face. You lose a bit of that emotion that those actors can pull out with their facial expressions in certain costumes. So, like, when it comes to certain things, you have to do that CG nowadays to get it to a level to where people's gonna know or feel that it's real.
Well,
it's not like a dinosaur. A dinosaur has hardly no facial expressions, so you don't have to CG that. You can use lots of different methods on creating the dinosaurs. But something like Smeagol would have very expressions, and especially like when you watch The Hobbit and you see those expressions that he puts out, and you almost feel sorry for him, like you're emotionally connected with him. You're like, oh no, please,
it was like that for me in the Two Towers when I know. In the book, in the books they didn't have it to where, he potentially thought about turning over a new leaf and telling his Gollum persona to go away, and instead going back to being Smeagol. Mm-hmm. Instead, he was just like he had that moment where he was like talking to himself. Yeah, and it was really well done, and you felt sorry for him.
You felt really bad for him. Yeah,
he got betrayed, and it was
he's lived his whole life in this misery, just with the ring, with it drawn to him and just sucking his soul out, pretty much,
And also Andy Serkis, brilliant actor. Right? The fact that he didn't even get an Oscar nod for that, not only that, but also the Planet of the Apes franchise. Mm-hmm. His work in that was so good. Yeah. If I could ever meet him, I'd just be like,
oh yeah, he'd be definitely somebody I'd like.
Let's have a full conversation with nothing but facial expressions.
Yeah, oh no, that would be nuts.
Because I'd just be like, and he would just be like, yeah, because his acting in the Planet of the Apes films, or the newest Planet of the Apes films, every time I see that opening of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes when they're up in the trees, and like the pullback, and you like see his face, and you see him like doing a little look around and stuff like that, it's one of the most believable like performances that the actor's not really there, but you believe everything that you're seeing. And Matt Reeves, the guy who directed the film, did tremendous work with Andy Serkis and all the actors, getting them to put on they even did like the facial mocap like they had in Avatar, and it was beautiful, really beautiful stuff. And oh man,
they were using one technology for the facial mocap in Avatar, and then they end up switching it like midway through pre-production to a different attachment where it goes right on the front of their face, and puts out vectors, which are just infrared lights, pretty much. And it captures it that way, so they can get their facial motion cap, and then they can get their body motion cap instead of doing it all with the camera angles. And that was a lot of experimental technology that James Cameron and his team put together. That was awesome.
And to think, it was almost 10 years old now. Holy crap, I feel old.
No, I can't wait for the Avatar 2 through 5.
Which are going to be released within, like, what,
the
6 years
half
of it?
Decade.
Yeah, it's going to be a while.
Unbelievable.
Which,
Dude's got the money to push it, so.
Oh, dude, he could do a
film. But to say, because I would rather them take their time and it be a masterpiece than rush. I mean, and you got to think, films take a long time to make anyway. A film like Avatar, that is ridiculous level of amount of time that needs to go into that.
It's interesting as far as him, like, them filming it all and then doing the post-production work. It's, it would suck if the second one certainly didn't catch on. But the problem is that it's going to be 11 years since the first one. So
see, it doesn't even feel like that to me. It feels like I just seen that in theaters with my friends, like just a few years ago.
I love Avatar. I mean, Avatar is an awesome movie in my opinion. That had to a degree a life-changing kind of perception for me.
What is possible with filmmaking and
certain things like that. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it later. I'm certainly excited to see what happens for these sequels.
I wonder when he wrote it, did he write 2, 3, 4, and 5?
Well, I mean,
so that's the thing is, like, did we have to...
He wrote it, I mean, I think he originally wrote it, like, in the 1990s.
Oh, yeah.
But he didn't have the technology available.
But did he write Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5 back then? I don't know either. Because if he had to write it, like, after Avatar was a success,
Well, he had
God,
a decade
he
to
might
do
make
it, so I hope he certainly fucking got it good.
Yeah.
Well, so that's the problem with
But
sequels.
you have to write it and film it and produce it and film
Yeah.
it. And,
Dude.
yeah,
See-
that's still a lot of years.
See, the problem with studio demanded sequels, which Cameron could have never done another one, and I think the studio would have been happy.
Well,
because
he don't have studio demand on him.
he is the studio.
He is the
Yeah,
studio.
Lightstorm
when he's
Entertainment
got
is his.
Titanic and Avatar behind him, the
Terminator.
two highest
And
grossing
Terminator.
films.
And
Yeah.
Terminator, yeah.
and Aliens,
And
second
Alien.
Aliens.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah, I
that
mean,
one
he's-
wasn't as big as near as big as like Terminator and
Oh,
now
no,
the Aliens
but-
franchise wasn't originally by him.
But
Though,
he's
so,
basically got the power to tell
Yeah.
any fucking production company, and be like,
yeah.
"Fuck
Yeah.
you, we're doing this my way."
Yeah, well, of course, because he is the money. He is the
Yeah.
he is the one that you have to impress him.
He
Which
delivers.
Well,
I'm-
he funded Avatar too.
yeah,
he
and
paid.
also I'm excited to see him actually working as a producer with other directors. He's actually doing Alita: Battle Angel.
Yep.
Which,
I'm interested to see that
which is
in the story that I've got is
Yeah.
a lot of cybernetic type stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I would like.
But I don't think he was taking
See.
a director's role. I think he's just
no,
producing
he's a producer,
it. Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez who's actually taking
Okay.
up the director's role in this one.
I haven't. I
just
don't
wonder
know
how much he
anything about
does
like
quality
the
control wise.
the
you know.
anime behind that. I'm
The
sure.
anime or it's a manga.
Or manga,
and
sorry,
manga.
manga.
I think the anime. I think if there is an anime, I haven't seen it, but I have read a bit of the manga.
Yeah.
And from what I'm seeing, they're actually going really close to it. That's one thing where I hope to see more of in Hollywood is good anime adaptations because
Were
Yeah,
the,
so
the
far they've
super
got track
anime
record.
eyes a part of it? Because they definitely
that's
they
actually
took that. I
something-
think they took that a little too literally.
Well, that's actually
That's because she's a droid, though, right?
well, it is
Well,
it's
yeah,
because
she
she's
is.
an android, and plus.
Yeah.
And plus, they actually have an explanation for why her eyes are so big like that. It's because of ocular sensory. She's actually able to detect attacks coming a lot easier because of her field of
Like
vision
larger
is
eyes.
massive.
Yeah. I could say well, and that's what I consider as far as like it makes sense to have larger eyes, but
Yeah,
I
and
just it
and-
did feel a little anime like pushed into real life.
well, yeah, it's the uncanny valley. I mean, the
Yeah.
uncanny valley is always going to be pushed whenever you're adapting something like that because a lot of people said they felt the uncanny valley with Edge of Tomorrow. Edge of Tomorrow is actually an anime adaptation itself, although they did change a few things to fit Tom Cruise's demands. In which I'm glad they didn't sacrifice the overall story too much. I mean, there's some things they changed. And I'm actually glad they changed them, but still, it's just like I wonder how people would have reacted if they went with the original ending that they had in the anime or the manga. But I'm hoping to see more of that. I've actually back on gosh a long time ago I started working on a project that was actually an adaptation of an anime. I remember when I started writing it. I started writing it when me and my family went on vacation back in 2009. I was sitting in the back of my dad's car and I had my laptop in my lap and I'm like, what do I want to write? And then all of a sudden, I had the idea full in my head, a westernization and adaptation of a film you and I discussed the other day, Princess Mononoke.
It's a favorite anime of all time.
It's probably my favorite anime film of all time.
Yeah, I mean, hands down, no contest, nothing comes close. I mean,
In terms of
perfect me. I mean,
Go ahead.
I don't know what it is about the universe. I mean, of course, I don't know, man. The movie is just so magical and awesome to me.
It's beautiful, and it's actually one of the only Miyazaki films that doesn't feature like a lot of flying in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's grounded and it feels different, and it has a feel of its own.
It was one of the most
Beautiful.
violent renditions of it too.
Oh yeah,
They even told when the studio that did the trailer for it, they wanted them to put the most violent scenes in the trailer so people can get a realistic adaptation of what type of movie they're watching, so they wouldn't have their little kids come watch it. Because,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty violent movie, and
well,
it's like the scenes with the cutting off the arms and
Yeah,
the severed
Lady
limbs
Eboshi's
and
arm getting
man,
bitten
it was
off.
awesome.
Yeah, Moro's head, going through and also
Just when he shoots
blood.
the bow at the beginning, when he first comes down to
Oh, yeah.
the warriors, and it just takes both of his arms off
And they
to
attach to the tree.
And I was like,
And then
whoa.
there's the head. He shoots and knocks the guy's head off
Yeah,
as
his
well.
head gets clean off, and the other dude just turns around and is like, screw this.
Yep,
Gets
it's
running,
like,
but
and later in the film, of course, the battle scenes with the pigs, like when Akoto, the giant boar, the giant white boar, whenever he's dying and he starts bleeding starts coughing up blood profusely. It's just like, whoa, gosh, that's graphic.
And I don't know. I've always been drawn to the more adult, serious
I have too.
themed tones, and it was just so. I've never seen a movie that's so beautiful, gruesome, but I mean the score, the symphony was off. The art
Joe
was
Hisaishi,
awesome.
man,
I mean,
one of
I
my
couldn't
favorites.
imagine drawing that many slides. Miyazaki is a machine.
Yeah, and also he's got Joe Hisaishi. You talked about the music, John. If Hayao Miyazaki is the Walt Disney of the East, Joe Hisaishi is the John Williams of the East, because so many classic themes have come from him. So many. I mean, all the Studio Ghibli films.
Journey to the West.
Oh yeah,
That's the main theme from Prince of Mononoke that I just it gives me chills.
Actually, I know the theme.
I'll bring out my piano and play.
Yeah. Na 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 na. And it's beautiful. And then when it opens up, and the full orchestra comes in, it's just
Oh yeah.
so beautiful. And also, the main theme as well. The ballad or the theme, Ashitaka's theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Just so many great themes, man. I love it.
And for the American version, Claire Danes being the voice actress. God, she's in some awesome movies that I think she's very unheard of and a lot of stuff. And I'm like, man, Claire Danes is awesome.
I'm aware. I'm more than aware because I watched the first few seasons of Homeland. I could not tear my eyes away from.
She was
She's
John
awesome
Connor's
in that.
wife in Terminator 3. And then
Homeland's a different
Stardust.
show.
Did you ever see
Yes,
the movie
I saw Stardust. Her and Charlie
That
Cox.
is so good of a
Yes,
movie.
it
I
is.
would kill to see
I actually met the artist who worked on the book.
Did you?
With
Now
Neil
the book's
Gaiman.
sad. The book is a
Yeah.
lot different ending
Same
than
thing he did.
it's a lot different
restroom.
ending than the
Than the
movie did. But man, that was a great movie. I loved it.
Oh yeah, well of course when you're able to talk Robert De Niro into dressing in drag, that is something awesome because he's just up there. He's just like.
I mean to me that movie just had such an awesome story and twist, and I'd never seen any of it coming either. It was like I never would have thought that the the princess that was kidnapped and tricked to being a witch's slave. Wait a minute, that's the daughter that they've been looking for. That they said at the beginning.
Like,
it was like, wait a minute, are you kidding me?
Like I was at Mark Strong, the one brother comes in, he turns out, he's like, Una? And she,
Is that you? No,
that you?
no father. It's
like
your son, Tertius.
Tertius.
Oh, it was a hilarious.
And they had a great cast too. I mean, they
yeah.
had Peter O'Toole as the Dying King. They had Mark Strong. They had what's his name? What's his name as the oldest brother? They had
I can't even remember.
Jason Fleming. That's his name.
Yeah.
And then they also had they also had Claire Danes, Charlie Cox, Robert De Niro, Ricky Gervais.
There you go. That's the name I was looking for.
Gervais.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh hi, ha! You trying to send me lightning? Here's the thing. Lightning is very prevalent right now, and I can only give it to you for this price.
Like,
and then he's just like, this is great. This is grade A lightning. Just like launches it and it knocks something down. He's like, thanks. He's like, oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to repair that now.
Yeah, he gets his voice turned to a frog.
Sam Power asks, how do you think they're gonna make 5 Fantastic Beasts movies?
That's fine with me.
Hey,
as long as they keep pumping out good material.
Well,
I don't care.
I mean, the whole Fantastic Beasts. I haven't read it honestly.
Well,
I love Harry Potter, but I never got around to watching that.
Oh, you never did? It's actually really good.
I don't know.
You gotta realize though that it's in the same universe as Harry Potter, and it's completely different story. You're probably not gonna see a lot of stuff in there.
All I know is Warner Brothers is going to milk as much money as they can out of Harry Potter.
Well, the number one thing it has going for it is that J.K. Rowling is directly involved with it. She's directly involved in like screen adaptation and the characters, what the characters are doing, what this character's doing. If they're getting this character's backstory wrong, they're like, oh no, it's this there, and it's awesome stuff. And also, when you throw in the human element into it as well, Kowalski is one of my favorite additions to the He's played by Dan Fogler, who is an awesomely funny actor, and the chemistry between him and Newt is always fun to watch because Kowalski he doesn't use magic. He's a Muggle. He or as they call them in this, a no-mage.
Yep.
And they have to, and like it shows him as like an outsider in this world that he never knew existed, and is
I do like that aspect.
Yeah.
A Muggle gets turned into political correctness as derogatory to non-mage users. So that's why they started to use no mage. So Fantastic Beasts takes a more realistic rendition between us and the magic world. How they blend in, how they get away with it, why haven't we done anything? Well, they know about each other. It's just they don't make it public, and it's a lot of that relationship between, hey, we got to stop these, dark magic people from letting, compromising the world, because then they're going to end up letting all the humans know about it. So there's a lot of backstory when it goes into the whole Harry Potter universe. A lot that I don't know, because a lot of people will be correcting me on a lot of this stuff. But,
well, that's fair. And
because there's a lot of literature to read about Harry Potter.
Well, for me, one thing about the Harry Potter films, for me, after the third one, there was always something missing. And I didn't know what it was when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, I found out what it was. Turns out John Williams stopped doing the Harry Potter films after 3. And that's why, to me, after 3, the music never really stood out like it did. You see, when I say stand out...
They just went to a darker theme for the rest of the series.
Well, yeah, they did.
Because 4 Goblet of Fire was the darkest.
It definitely got gradually darker.
Then, by the time it got to...
it's just... John Williams can do dark. I mean, he's done dark themes before.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, I think maybe... If they would have kept him on, I think the themes would have been better, and it would have enriched the films even more. Because my favorites, even though the first 2 are pretty rough, the third one was my favorite for the longest time. And I think it can be attributed to the director, Alfonso Cuarón, who I think is one of the best directors in the world. I mean, he is just so good at at shot design, character, just like, telling the story with the characters saying very little dialogue.
Yeah.
If for anyone out there who's interested in watching one of his masterworks, Gravity and Children of Men are probably my 2 favorite films of his, especially like full English language films.
Oh yeah.
And then of course he has it really showed the characters growing up. Harry becoming more of an adult.
It's kind of funny because of the year when Harry Potter came out, I was pretty much the same age as Harry. So it's kind of cool because I seen him every time in theaters when it came out. It's almost like I grew up with Daniel Radcliffe, except I just grew up watching his movie.
I think, I could be wrong, but I think the 7th one came out right as I was 17. So like the ages on that, by the time that the whole series ended, it all matched up.
It was like, we'll release to life without a Harry Potter movie. Oh, adulthood with no Harry Potter. What are we going to do?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, what, they make more. Cool.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the thing with the movies. Like a lot of times, books that are adapted into movies or, games that are adapted into movies, they don't land well. They don't do well. But the thing with the Harry Potter movies is, even though they're not as good as the books, it provides that visualization that I can always look to when I'm like if I ever go to reread the books and stuff. Yeah. I can use the movies to kind of basically provide visualization. That's kind of why I did the concept art with my book and stuff here. There's a lot more concept behind more than just these 2 images here.
If you used to make a movie as detailed as a book, it'd be like 14 hours long.
And I mean,
it would just be that, and that's why they don't put that much detail in them, because they can't physically.
well, actually, one thing I wanted to try and do as a filmmaker was get a book that I really like and get the rights to adapt it and everything, and do a 1-to-1 shot for shot reshoot of what's in the book, but then do the film cut, and then whenever you release it on like home video or digital
full version,
you give them the option to watch the full version if they want to watch the full version,
or a theatrical.
Or watch the theatrical cut.
Zach Zahn said, "Hey Nick," with the metal horns.
Hey.
Sorry.
I mean, obviously, with that, it kind of gets a little weird because a lot of times with books, it's a lot about what the thought process is going on with the character.
Yeah.
And something that you can't easily put in a movie or any kind of visual thing because it's all going on in the mind, unless you narrated it, which would also not look good in a movie. It
True.
It wouldn't.
Well,
so it's always it's difficult to provide a lot of those things.
One person who hated the adaptations to his material so much. Actually, there's been two examples I can really think of in history who really dislike it a lot. Number one, Stephen King. Stephen King hated the adaptation of The Shining. He felt that Kubrick missed the point on so many of the things that he was trying to do in the novel. But honestly, I don't mind because The Shining movie is still, to me, one of the most brilliant masterworks of psychological horror that has ever been put on film. And of course, Jack Nicholson being Jack Nicholson. I mean, if I met Jack Nicholson, I would expect him to chase me with an axe. I'm just being honest with you.
He is
To me, he strikes me as a crazy man.
Well.
He strikes me as a crazy man.
Yeah.
But that being said, the other one I can think of is Alan Moore. Alan Moore hated every single adaptation of his works to film, even though originally he was really excited to have Hollywood finally come and approach him for his novel or for his graphic novels, but then eventually over time he's just been they're terrible. They only think about money. They don't actually think about the art or the story or anything like that. Because the first one was, I believe, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which was
I remember that, yeah.
which was a dumpster fire, and then V for Vendetta, which
I never read the book for that. I enjoyed the movie, but that's based on me never having read it. So
apparently neither did the writers of the film. Yeah. Then there was V for Vendetta, which personally I liked.
Yeah, I thought
liked
V
it
for
a lot.
Vendetta was good.
But still they cut a lot of stuff out that Alan Moore was unhappy about, in which they tried to explain to him that it's for the filmmaking aspect. But then of course the one that he drew the line in the sand and said, I don't want my name involved with this. If you're going to adapt this, I don't want my name attached. And that was Watchmen. And it was because to him, Watchmen was his masterwork, in which it's the only graphic novel to be included on the Time 100's greatest fictional works. And
yeah, again, never
you never read Watchmen?
I never read it, but I thought the movie was fucking great.
I thought it was too, and I thought the changes they made were logical ones. As much as I know people rag on Zack Snyder nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with movies, it ultimately comes down to you're never gonna be able to match the book because you have to shove 5, 6, 7, 800 pages worth of content into a 2-hour movie, and typically when it comes to script writing and stuff, the general rule is that you're looking at a page, 1 page of script per minute of film of runtime.
Yeah.
And so especially a large dialogue type thing that's gonna run through burn through your time real quick. People aren't gonna go to a movie that's more than 2.5 hours long that much. I mean you got movies. I don't know how long was Inception.
Inception was, I believe, just over 2 hours. I think it was 2 hours and 15 minutes.
I mean, you can get away with that, but I mean, if you try pushing like Avatar was 3.5 hours and stuff, and I love the hell out of Avatar, but but man, once you get there, you're just gonna lose so much audience, and with a film production company, they have to make their money, and so they're going to go with the most efficiency they can. That comes down to
I understand that and
time. So.
Well, for me, I look at things that like you said, every for scripts and stuff like that. I think how the film is made and the pacing that it maintains. For me, I think of films like The Dark Knight, which was 2.5 hours long. It did not feel 2.5 hours long. Mm-hmm. To me, I felt it was like a good, brisk hour-and-a-half film, and it's because the pacing of the film was so good.
It was done well, yeah.
And same thing with the new Avengers movie. Avengers Infinity War was almost 3 hours long, and I didn't feel like I was there for 3 hours.
No,
I felt like it was like a good hour and 45 minutes, maybe 2 hour movie, and I loved it. I think directors who are really good at pacing, like the Russo brothers, I think are masters of pacing because of the amount of stuff not only in Avengers: Infinity War, which is probably my favorite Marvel film, but my favorite one before that, for the longest time, was Civil War because of the amount of characters and the amount of story that was thrown in. Now that Infinity War's out, I'm just like, wow, the Russos really stepped up their game because they directed Civil War, and they also they're pretty much responsible for a lot of my favorite Marvel films.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they're really good at pacing and they're really good at character storytelling. Like with very little dialogue, they can tell such great stories.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love seeing that stuff.
Well, and one of the aspects that I think about it, like what I have in mind, Axiom. When I started writing the book, I didn't write the book. I didn't set out to that being like I want to write a book. It was I have this awesome idea, but I don't have any kind of budget or capability to put it into kind of a video game format or a film format that I want. A book though is essentially on me. It doesn't require that much of a budget. It just requires my personal time, so I could work with that. But one of the aspects that I have in mind, like if I ever get to the point where I can increase this to like a film or a video game level, I don't want to necessarily retell the story that I told in the book. I want it to be something different. Yeah. There's obviously the drawback of that is that, anybody that's interested in seeing the movie would kind of need to inherently know about the book, have read that or something to have,
you get that.
Unless you introduce the characters, pretty well in the movie. But I think by doing that, by putting a different setting, a different story, through the movie and stuff, rather than what is told in the book, it allows you a little bit more freedom. You're not so much constrained about through the judgment of, well, how does this compare to the book? So that's something that I'm looking at possibly. But
I dig that, man, so. I'm
There's
actually
also
seeing
always the option of set up a universe with a book, and then if you're going to make a film adaptation, don't necessarily have the same setting and everything that went on in the book. Like, just keep it within the same universe.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, use the same. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Basically, I mean, and especially like use the book to introduce, because a movie, a lot of it is visual. You can't get, it's too clunky to talk about a lot of the exposition stuff, especially in a film. Even in a book, it is, but in a film, if you like stop whatever's happening in the plot to like explain this particular technology or what happened on that, in that particular time, it's too clunky. It breaks the immersion into the story.
Yeah.
But a book, you have a little bit more freedom to introduce that stuff, and that's why actually when I wrote my book, I had considered actually I want to make a reference guide that can explain all that techno babble stuff, because I really want to talk about it. And my thing is I love exposition. I love backstory and stuff, but I recognize that in a story for people that are reading it, it's not good to necessarily put that in unless you can really work it into the plot properly. And so, it's always a balancing act with it. You want to stick to, you want to keep as many of the elements, like if you're doing like a full one-to-one recreation of a book into a movie, you want to find a balancing act of staying as close as you can to that, but also understand not, and recognizing that you can't keep fully to what the book is. And so,
true, very true. And it's just a thought I've had in the past of doing that, and if there's any way to truly please the fans, and later on I thought to myself, even if you did a 1-to-1 of a person who absolutely loves it and wishes that nothing would change from transition from book to screen, everyone imagines it in their heads, and there's no better filmmaker in somebody else's mind than themselves. Like if someone plays a film version of it in their head, like their imagination takes them there by reading the book, then there's nothing you could really do. I mean, there's nothing you really do to not overshadow it, but really outdo that. It's almost impossible. And it's just a thought I had. I wonder if that would be a possibility in the future of studios doing that, because it is getting cheaper and cheaper to make films now because of the amount of technology that's available readily to
Yeah,
people.
and so it's easier, it's cheaper and stuff, and I mean, you can get a lot. I mean, the amount of people, the people that are able to afford the film quality equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exploded in just the last decade or so.
I think with
drones
DSLRs adding video to them, that jump started the amateur filmmakers, because that's only been on video on DSLR has only been about 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then
I mean,
digital
like,
camera crazy.
yeah,
Now
DSLRs.
everybody's a filmmaker now, and of course then you upgrade to the bigger cinema cameras, and then it's like, oh man, what did I get myself into?
Yeah, it's like a whole world of
it does
difference
it does
Yeah.
obviously have the drawback of saturating the thing, just like, I mean, with like Let's Play type stuff, and
Yeah.
there's that-
Mm-hmm.
it puts you in an environment where you have to be a lot more competitive with it, and it kind of sucks to some degree, but at the same time, it also increases the amount of creativity that's out there. You can see
Yeah.
what a lot more people with their ideas and stuff put onto film or whatever media it's put through.
I just noticed in some of the comments that's on here, so you can kind of check out some of. I mean, we've got a few of them that's gone way back in here. So,
Let's see them.
like favorite British comedy. I'm an Edgar Wright fan, so Hot Fuzz for me.
Hot Fuzz was great. But
Hot Fuzz.
I
is
personally, I
excellent.
like what is it? Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shaun of the Dead's pretty dang
Yeah.
good too.
Well, actually, Shaun of the Dead, At World's End, and Hot Fuzz, all
Yeah.
three of the Cornetto trilogy. Albeit At World's End is probably my least favorite,
It's my least favorite too.
but it's still good. I still laughed my ass off during that film. But Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, you actually go back and watch them 10 times over, and you still notice things you never noticed before.
Yeah.
That's how layered those films
He
are.
says, "What are your thoughts on other Studio Ghibli films, i.e., Spirited Away, Ponyo, etc.? Howl's Moving Castle is my other favorite one.
Yeah.
Spirited Away is my personal favorite.
Well, Spirited Away, there's a lot to unbox with that film. I mean, it was Miyazaki's return. He said Prince of Mononoke was going to be his last one.
Yeah.
Then he came back after getting inspired and made Spirited Away. And then he made Howl's Moving Castle.
He said that a few times.
Yeah. And now he's coming out of retirement again. So, hey, Miyazaki
Then,
will never die. Even though he claimed...
So High King Alex Love, High King Alex Love says, "So what's your favorite boss in Dark Souls 3? Mine is, I'm not even going to pronounce that. Yorm the giant.
Yoram the Knight.
Yorm
The giant.
Yeah. I personally have not played Dark Souls 3s. Please do
Yeah.
not shoot me.
Sorry.
That's fine.
Dark
That's been
Souls
the
1,
hard
I played a little
questions.
bit, and I
It's not
cussed
been
at that one quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, the thing,
Games are ridiculously
for
hard.
me, I'm more into sci-fi, like the
Mass Effect.
futuristic stuff.
Mhm.
Well, yeah,
as
I
far as
get
the
that.
I like the
fantasy,
fantasy
What's
stuff
the-
better.
Yeah, I'm not too big into
What's
it.
the name of the prince in Dark Souls 3?
No idea.
I don't know. Off the top of my
Basically,
head.
it's like the next to the
Sorry, I
last
can't
boss
answer your
fight,
question.
the prince battle, where they have like the crippled brother and he like sits on his shoulder, and that boss fight was unique and it was intense, and like out of all the ones in Dark Souls 3, that's the one that stuck in my memory the most.
Huh.
It's hard to describe exactly, but without
know.
showing it to you, but it just had the coolest mechanics too, because I'm trying to remember exactly how it goes now. I played that game so much, and my ADD just throws details to the wind all the time.
Ain't that always the case?
I don't know.
Like that fight definitely was my favorite one. It was a really good like leading up to the final boss fight. Honestly, I kind of would have been happy if that was the final boss fight, because it was nice. Like, and you're walking back up the freaking stairs like from what looks like an Anne Orlando type area to get there, and there's just this legion of knights guarding their chamber and stuff on the way up, and it's just like you have to fight so hard to even get to that boss fight.
Yeah, for
was
me,
sick.
probably my favorite mission base of any game probably ever is the suicide mission in Mass Effect 2. The
Yeah.
suicide mission in Mass Effect
Yeah.
2 to me is probably my favorite mission probably of all time, because you have to do everything perfect in order for everyone
Fuck
to
yeah,
live.
you do, and you have to select the people right and everything
Yep.
for the mission.
You
Yeah.
select the people wrong,
Yeah.
people die. You take too long to get to the damn mission, people die. It's just like, Jesus, man.
Yeah,
and-
it's yeah.
And it gets, and it can get ugly if you don't do things right.
If you really fuck up, everybody dies.
Yeah, including Shepard, including
which doesn't
you.
really
Yes.
kind of breaks the flow into Mass Effect 3. But
Yeah, well,
but at that point, I mean, shit. If you didn't care to take care of any of your teammates, then
yeah.
because it didn't really make any sense. But.
Me, I remember the first time I played it, I made sure to do all the loyalty stuff and everything, and then during the final mission, holy crap! When Thane got killed in the final mission, and I'm just like, no, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
What did I do wrong?
Rest assured, I created a save point before.
I did too. I was just like,
shit.
okay, let's do this. Let's do this. And then first Thane died, and then Jacob died, and then Grunt died. And I was just like, oh my gosh,
Jesus,
dude. I know, I killed.
Most I had was like Tally.
Tally.
Have you? No, I don't know if you guys. I don't know how much time you have, like as far as how long you guys go with these, but
yeah.
Have you guys already talked about Shadow of the Tomb Raider?
Shadow of the Tomb Raider. He's playing it.
I've not started it yet, actually.
Oh, really?
I came to the channel and I was like, one of the series I would really like to get into if nobody's done it is the Tomb Raider reboots. So I played through the first one again, and then I played through Rise, and we have Shadow, but I haven't got to start it yet.
I mean, I'll be honest. I've never played any of the older Tomb Raider stuff. I got into it on the reboot, and I enjoyed the hell of it so far. And Shadow of the Tomb Raider is good. I don't know if it would be my favorite out of the three, but it was good. I think it kind of pushes the, well, shit, dude. Lara Croft is kind of a psychopath when it comes to murdering people, but there's definitely a cool scene in there where she fucking rises out of the lake like the goddamn Grudge or something, like Samara out of the well, and like fucking murders
wicked.
Dude. It's pretty fucking cool.
They actually had that same analogy in the Uncharted series with Nathan Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it's like let's go start this question. How many people have you killed today? Just today. And it's just like, yeah, he's pretty psychotic. And Lara, she's obsessed with revenge by the end of the second game. For the first game,
it's just about survival.
And it's really well done. The second game, they expand the story, and I like what they're doing. It's just they kind of make Lara Croft look like a special forces operative, kind of, as far as her combat ability. Well, yeah, you can make the argument that it's suspension of belief for the game. I mean, same thing with Uncharted, because Nathan Drake from a flat-footed stop on an edge made a 12.5-foot jump. No run up, no nothing.
Vertical up,
straight across a gorge.
Okay.
And he made that jump no problem. I'm just like,
to be fair,
Asafa Powell.
He's got fingers of steel.
No. He didn't like grab onto the ledge or nothing.
No.
It was like the ledge here, jump, one dead stop, jump over to the other ledge. And I'm like,
no run up or anything.
I'm like, I'm just sitting here just like.
They kind of did that with God of War too, with Kratos, where like you can just be standing at the
He just needs one finger to grab a hold of the ledge and pull him and Atreus, and use that to jump up to another one.
Well, he is a god.
He is a god. He'll leap up to like big gaps that are like also upwards and stuff with no run up or anything. It's just kind of
there's an excuse for him. He's a god. I mean,
yeah.
Whereas Nathan Drake's supposed to be like a human.
It makes more sense for like Kratos, but like I've thought that about like several games. Like I mean, like a lot of games that come out nowadays, like Call of Duty and stuff like that during the campaigns, is like this one dude like took out like a goddamn battalion by himself.
Oh, you run faster than Master Chief in Call of Duty.
Yeah,
that's true.
That typically comes with a lot of
sense.
games. Is you're always kind of a god figure, being able to wipe out so many.
It's like ridiculous
people.
that not a stray bullet like or anything just took this guy out at some point.
Yeah, like me
Managed
on
to take out
Resident
that
Evil.
many dudes.
That's why I like Resident Evil 7, because your guy can take punishment, but there's a reason for it. It's because of what he's been given and what he has been, and also what's been done to him in some ways. And it's really cool, like how you go from this scared guy arriving on a scene he has no depth in to at the end of the game barely surviving by the skin of your ass because someone just so happened to toss the weapon down to you that you needed. It's like,
Yeah.
crap.
Dude, Resistance did the same thing, actually. Resistance did a really good job of setting up a reason for you being able to just go through these hordes and hordes of aliens because, like, early in the game, on the first game, you don't have a regenerating health bar. And if you take too many shots, that's it.
You're dead.
You're dead. And, like, you make it to a certain point, then you get infected with this virus, then you get regenerating health. Then it starts to make sense because it's like, oh, well, he's got, like, you know, their genes, so he can...
Well,
and what's
regenerate
interesting
his
with that
wounds
is
and
that
stuff.
you gradually, by the end of it, like, I don't know if it was the
second game.
second game. Like, you as the protagonist, you end up becoming, like,
You
the
you become
kind of cool.
one of the
you either
Chimera.
die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the
Exactly.
villain. Like a literal, like literally right there. It's like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
I like when they do like little explanations in games as to like this is why we're doing this weird video game thing that's always real hard to believe in this one. Like, you know, we made a reason for it so you don't have to be all like, yeah, that's real unrealistic. It's like, oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. For me, God of War, I like that Kratos is just he does it because he wants to. There's no explanation for him to like in the first game where he like saves the captain from falling down the throat of the Hydra, and it's like the captain's just like, thank you so much. I didn't come for you. Grabs the key and just just lets him go.
Lets him go.
he's like "Ah!" And then at the end of the game when Kratos is climbing out of hell. And the one guy he grabs onto to pull himself back up out of falling deeper into hell. It's the captain again, and he climbs up. He's like, "No, I fought so far to get here. You are not doing this to me." And then he looks down, and then the captain looks up, and he's like, "You again? No!"
I love God of War already.
stop
It's just such an awesome series.
And then the second game, it's the same thing with Icarus. When you take Icarus, like literally pull Icarus's wings off of his back, he's like, "I know I said some things and done some things, but I'm sorry. I didn't mean." That scream as he's falling into the underworld to me is like one of the most satisfying things because he was such an asshole.
Yeah, I know.
Such a freaking asshole, and I loved it.
A lot of those kills were just like Kratos gives no fucks.
Yeah, yeah. If there
Him
were
impelling or like who was it? Was it Apollo that he like drowned and then impelled him on a hook? Basically, it was ridiculous.
I think so. Oh no! I think that was
I can't remember.
Perseus. It was Perseus.
Yeah, about to say, I don't want to say it and mess it up.
I think it was Perseus because I remember he did
There's a lot of
drown
gods to
Perseus.
remember. You've killed
And
a
he
lot
got
of
his
gods
shield.
over the years.
The guy that
Kratos.
keeps the horses of time or whatever. And
Oh!
he gets him down and like smashes his head in that giant stone door over and over again. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah,
God
and then of
dang.
course there's, to me, probably one of the more brutal ones was in the third one where he literally rips Helios's head off of his body.
Yeah,
Like
takes it
literally,
with
like
him.
Just
like
pulls it off.
like all the muscles and everything tear, and you see it. You're like, it's like, "Ugh!" And then as he holds up Helios's head, Helios's eyes and mouth go like wide open, just like, "Ah!" Just like reveals. Well, and it reveals hidden doors and stuff like that. It's like, wow.
And then him just
Yeah.
beating Hercules'
Dude.
face into like a bloody pulp with his own.
With Hercules voiced by Kevin friggin' Sorbo.
Yeah.
One of the best cameos in a game ever. And, gosh, dude.
Yeah,
Such great stuff.
God of War 4 takes it in the books for me, man. That is an absolute masterpiece.
It
through
is.
through.
And
Like, I can't find a thing wrong with it. I mean, I really can't.
well, it shows how Cory Barlog has matured as a game designer because he was the lead director on the second game. And you know, the second game to me was probably my favorite out of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And now he's come back and like the whole prodigal son has returned to Sony Santa Monica, and not only does he reshape the franchise, but he doesn't just reshape it or reinvigorate
He
it.
stepped the bar
He-
for video game design, man.
He
I mean, it's
blew
pretty
everything
cool
out of the
having
water.
that singular camera, just one solid.
One shot.
Yeah, one
There-
shot.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and I love it. And there's only once or twice throughout the entire game where a loading screen interrupts.
That's only if you die.
Well, not only if you die, but also
The hidden loading screen within the when you turn
Oh yeah,
when you turn the table, yeah, and the Yggdrasil,
yeah.
basically that's kind of like a hidden loading screen, but it's really kind of not too, you know, because I mean I still feel like I'm involved in the game.
Well, yeah, it's still there's enough going on to where you're distracted by what's happening, and it's interesting every time because every time you go to a new world, new things like appear in the background.
Yeah.
As the doors are opening. But the loading screen I'm talking about is when you discover when you have to jump off of the walkway that that
I just did that. I just saved last night.
There was one loading screen, and it was because I didn't have a PS4 Pro. It's not there on the PS4 Pro.
Oh, it's not? That's cool.
It's not there on the PS4 Pro, but it is on my regular PS4. And right before I jumped off, there was a small loading screen. It was just like Kratos stop, and then like the circle appeared in the bottom. I'm like, wait, what? What? It was like it didn't kill the gameplay experience. It's just it made me realize, holy crap, I've gone this entire game without a single loading screen. Like, wow.
I still think you can beat the game without doing that particular part.
No, you have to. That's the end game.
I don't remember.
The Land of the Giants, where you scatter phase ashes.
Yeah, and it opens up the gate above where the tree where you found my mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it gets destroyed. So yeah, definitely spoilers.
Sorry. Hey, that's payback for Red Dead Redemption 2.
I would be mad, but I accidentally watched Nate play the end of the game whenever I first came to hang out. It's not spoilers for me
because I've already beat God of War.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I've gotten up to about 75% on it. That's a lot of hours I put into it. And
I
was watching him play it, and I was like, I don't even remember this part.
Yeah, I just got down. I was playing around in Niflheim.
Oh, Niflheim, yes.
Where the shit like everything changes up every time you go in.
Yep, the desolate fog. I platinumed it, and that's one of the 2 games here recently that I platinumed. I platinumed it, and I platinumed the new Spider-Man game.
Oh, did you?
Which
nice.
is both of them are awesome.
I'm still working on Spider-Man right now.
Yeah,
I still haven't even got the chance to play it yet.
It's
too much
sick.
filming stuff going on.
Oh no! Hey, y'all have an excuse for that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Y'all got reasons.
Shit, unfortunately.
Y'all got reasons for that shit. Me, on the other hand, it's just like
I'm
a loser with too much time on my hands.
No, shoot. I wish I had time to sit there and do that. If I did, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, it's entertainment. I wouldn't call anybody fucking being a loser for playing video games.
Nope.
Especially if they're fucking making money doing it. I mean, that's clearly.
If they see how many thousand hours I put in World of Warcraft, I got no room to talk.
You're making money playing video games. You're doing something right. Clearly.
I hope so.
I mean, it's entertainment. People enjoy this, and that's the thing. I enjoy watching. The playthroughs, especially like before he got here, I didn't have a PlayStation, so I couldn't play like fucking Horizon Zero Dawn.
Man.
It was fucking awesome game.
And I kept telling him, I was like, man, you gotta play this. You're missing out.
Yeah, but
he likes single player games too.
Yeah, I'm not too much of the competitive multiplayer. I'm more of the casual single player type stuff. Yeah.
I'm into both. Me and him.
I'm definitely both.
We've played, Overwatch. We played Destiny. We played a few things together, and actually,
Deceit.
Oh yeah, Deceit.
Deceit.
Have you all ever played Deceit?
I have not.
Deceit is a free-to-play survival horror multiplayer game.
Really?
5 people spawn. It's 5 people, right?
6.
6 people. 6 people spawn in a room. 2 are monsters that have shape-shifting abilities. And the other 4 have to figure out who are the monsters and who are not, and
try to escape before they murder them.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot like The Thing.
So everybody looks like their normal
Actually, one of the comments
though,
on here asked if we had ever seen The Thing, the movie, and never got
it's one of my favorite horror movies.
I saw the original one way back.
1982.
Then I saw the remake a few years ago.
Well, actually, it was a prequel.
The
prequel to it, which
God,
dude, so much of a wasted talent on that film because you had
true, but I mean, it was
great
interesting
cast.
to see the kind of as far as how the events basically flowed into the original.
Well, yeah, but to me, they wasted a lot of really talented people who actually wanted to do the prosthetic stuff, but they didn't. But they felt. Oh no, CG will be just fine. Which the CG on it was okay, but from the prosthetic stuff I saw,
The practical effects are part of what's so badass about the original movie.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, when that dude, like, the guy's doing surgery, and the chest opens up, and like, fuck that.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, there's just an eruption of flesh from the chasm, and it's another one of that guy's heads, and it's just like, what the fuck? and then all of a sudden they burn him, and his original head like droops down the front of the table, falls off, sprouts legs, and starts crawling away. You're just like,
no.
You're just like, to me as a kid, I think it was like 10 or 12 years old when I watched that movie.
Yeah.
That was a massive, like, what the
fuck is going on?
Yeah, I was like, as a kid, I was like, huh? Like, what? What am I watching? What is this? Why is it awesome?
I didn't see it until I was an adult, but I was just like, dude, this movie's sick.
It came on Showtime.
The Thing is just the precursor to the vor fetish.
Oh, gosh. Well, for me, I watched it on Showtime Beyond. Like, I snuck and watched it when I was staying at my grandparents' house. They had digital cable and did not know how to access it. God, Grandma, what the hell? But I snuck and I watched it when I was like 10 or 12 years old. I was like, holy shit, what have I done? What have I done? And, oh, God. So many great memories.
Dr. Dell says, bro, I'm terrified to think of how much of my life I have given to Blizzard. That is something I can relate to, because...
I don't look at my slash played.
No.
No.
Don't do it.
No.
Don't.
I mean, because I just remember spending that, like, first hard 6 months of playing World of Warcraft just to get to 60. And then it was, like, from 60 to 70 was, like, another hard 3 or 4 months. And then when the expansion came out, 70, and just not including all the raids in between, and... all the guild times, and then the character restarts in many years, and just
The most time I actually spent, like,
and then StarCraft 2. Oh my God, StarCraft 2 and Warcraft 3.
Warcraft 3.
Oh, I put so stupid amounts of time.
Me and my buddy also played one class each, minus the Necromancer. In Diablo 3, we max leveled all the other classes one at a time each. So we put stupid amounts of time.
Oh yeah, Blizzard. They have to go down in history as the most addictive gaming.
And I've played a lot of Overwatch. So.
Y'all talking about Blizzard and y'all talking about World of Warcraft. I'm reminded of the first episode of Sword Art Online Abridged, where the video game designer is like talking about. He's saying he's like, much like World of Warcraft, none of you are here by choice anymore. I was just.
I mean, I didn't even know what to do. Like, I heard about World of Warcraft when it was out, and I even seen some reference on X-Play and G4 saying it was the most addictive. Yeah. There were some parodies of it just being super addictive, and
X-Play.
I seen the game, and I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm paying $15 a month to play a game. And my one friend of reasoning here just goes, dude, think about it. When you go to the arcade, you end up spending like 50 cents for 1 hour. Or, I'm sorry, for like 2 minutes. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, well, think about it. If you play this game 12 to 16 hours a day for 50 cents a day, that's all you're paying. I'm like, God damn, you're damn right. You know what? I won't give this game a try. And that was it, man.
Yep.
That was it. Nobody knew who I was for about
when you throw math at me.
All of a sudden you're sitting there 1 eternity later, and you're just like, I finally hit level 60.
Oh,
new expansion coming out. It gets to level
like
70.
Rejoice, man.
Fuck. so I
no. That expansion came out like right around the time I hit level 60. So like, I mean, I was like, oh, I gotta get to 60 before this expansion comes out. You know, I'm not missing out on all this day one content. And finally hit there, and I had this little piece of shit. Sorry, excuse my French. Asus gaming laptop. It was called a Series Gamers G50, and this is back when Windows Vista was going hard. Oh yeah, one of the first.
Before the
Vista
Mojave update, it was unusable.
No, it was about unusable anyway. So.
Oh yeah.
Actually, it didn't give me too bad of a problem, but I had the GTX 9800 at the time, which was the hot video card.
Yes.
Man, World of Warcraft on like a 40-man raid was just crashing my shit. It was like, wow, I can't hardly even.
Actually, Nick and I have looked at. We're trying to build him a machine coming up. Actually, good news, the case just got shipped.
Woo!
He's wanting one that's inspired by like the Alien movies.
Nice.
H.R.
we've looked
Geiger. Yeah.
Yeah, H.R. Giger and his.
Are you kind of going more like Colonial Marines style design, or
it's
like
more like
Alien
the
design?
Alien-
Have you
like
seen
the-
Geiger's like just artwork outside of Alien?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I have.
Let me show you.
Here, I'll
an
show you the
album
case.
cover real quick.
I'll show you the case.
So what the hell are we talking about?
I'm building Nick,
Custom
helping Nick build a
PCs.
PC, a custom PC. There it is.
And
The
it's aliens themed.
well, yeah, it's around it. Yeah, the case that we got. It's probably the most alien-esque one.
Yeah,
That
you're talking about like a xenomorph design.
Yeah, does
right?
Like-
does the case look like a fucking xenomorph egg or some shit? Or
as close as I can, muster.
Yes, that's definitely xenomorph style. Okay.
Yeah.
That's H.R. Geiger artwork that's not from Alien. He just has that style in general, like that very like biomechanical thing.
Yeah, here's the case
like
right here.
gothic
Oh,
biomechanical.
don't die on us there, Ron.
dude, that fucking Four Loko shit.
Oh yes.
I know the reds are strong. Holy shit.
Let's see. Here it is. Oh, come on. Let's see.
I was gonna say on the World of Warcraft thing, my buddy got me into it just because he was like, "Dude, come to my house and try it." And I was like, "All right, I'll come try it." I made an undead, and he's like, "Hit /dance," and he starts fucking like rocking out.
Yeah,
I'm just
like,
like,
that's my character.
"That's badass."
Dr.
here's
Dell
the-
says,
I played it for a
"Can't
little bit, and I was
mention
like,
piece of shit
"Man,
laptop
this seems
without
so much
That's
fun."
following
the
up with
front of the
saying
case.
Zeus."
Yeah.
Let me see that.
Yeah. Here's the front of the case, Ron. If you can see it.
Okay. Yeah.
You guys going
Okay,
Intel
that's
or
pretty
AMD?
fucking cool.
Yeah. Huh?
You guys going Intel or AMD?
Right now,
Depends
probably
on-
gonna go AMD
Yeah.
because
So you gaming or working?
gaming.
Okay, then
Well,
gaming. just goes
gaming / streaming, in which the ones that I found work best for that are either the Intel 8700 series
Mm-hmm.
or the AMD Ryzen 7s, which
Yeah.
the Ryzen 7 1700
That's
right now
what I'm
is
looking
like
at. Is
really
the Ryzen
cheap.
7s is they're very super affordable and got really good performance.
Well, yeah, I mean, on average, you can superclock to well over 4 gigahertz,
Mm-hmm.
and then not only that, but you have 8 cores that are pushing that.
I'm
out.
running a 8350 right now.
A350. That's a good
a
one.
little old school right now.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, AMD FX.
it still
8350.
kicks ass. Other than the fact that it gets super super hot. So
Well,
if you're
yeah.
going AMD, I highly recommend liquid cooling.
Well,
$50 for a cheap liquid cooling
depends.
set.
Well, it
There's-
depends on the TDP. If it's anything over 75 or 80 watts,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. But the TDP actually on the new Ryzen 7 chipset,
Mine's 120 watts.
this one's only 65.
Oh wow.
It's
Tell him
60.
the horror
not
story you
too
told
bad.
me about liquid cooling, though.
Oh,
I'm a big fan of liquid cooling.
No,
other than
no,
the fact that you have to
I don't.
every so many years you pretty much have to either replace it or replace the.
I don't hate liquid cooling. A friend of mine who builds computers, he pro builds computers, and he made his own custom case.
Yeah.
What he did was he took pretty much two huge mega ATX cases, and he pretty much welded them together and put a hinge in the back and like a little thing, and he could split it open, and it had like full water cooling on both of them.
Water cooling?
Yes.
Not like mineral oil or liquid cooling gel. He actually used water.
Or well,
I was about to say that's not very smart.
Well, liquid cooling.
Yeah, because
right.
liquid cooling is non-conductive, and you could dump a 50-gallon jug of that stuff right on your motherboard while it's running and plugged. It won't do anything.
Okay.
It's mineral oil, and they actually make mineral oil cases that I've seen at QuakeCon.
Yeah.
So they actually have what you call fish tank PCs, and they're completely submerged under
Actually,
liquid.
Linus built one. I saw one
and
of
it's
those.
mineral
which,
oil, and you don't have to worry about it messing up because it's just completely non-conductive. So
well, that's good.
that's to kind of
That's
solve
actually-
all the
that might
remedy. If you
actually
build
be
your own
something.
liquid cooling and use anything conductive or like some cheap stuff, yeah, you're gonna mess
well,
it up. So
here's what happened. It pretty much got in his power supply, and it just destroyed everything that he did, and pretty much half of his machine went down, including the 2 graphics cards he had in there, which were at the time GTX 750
I'd be
Ti's.
mad as hell.
Oh, he was, and he still does liquid cooling and everything.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, there's just a huge performance difference on liquid cooling. It's not even just the fact of hey, my thing gets hot or not, because everybody uses the what's his new liquid coolers that come with. It's like the largest regular fan heat sink you can get. And
Oh, the Ryzen
like
Threadripper.
It's like this big, and it clunks on there, and you have, and if your desktop sits up, it's like this big of weight on that thing, and with the brackets, it actually has to connect to the other side of the case to support the weight. And it's really aggravating to install, especially if you have a medium like ATX case or micro. You're not going to fit it in there. But liquid cooling is just a pad this big. It connects on there, and it's got 2 hoses that go to it to the back of your radiator. You can put the radiator on the inside or outside. I recommend putting it on the outside because it's cooler out there.
Yeah,
than it is on the inside.
How he did, he had the reservoir. He had the reservoir attached to the. It was attached to the front mounted radiator. He had the fan. He had the fan, radiator, and then it was mounted onto the back of the back of the rad. Yeah. So it stayed cool there on that. So it was an effective machine. And I if I were to do liquid cooling, I'd probably I might, I don't know, but I do air cooling.
The reason I say it's some of the regular heat sinks are more expensive than a liquid cooling. You can get cheap liquid cooling for like $40.
Nickel one or
just a I'm not even sure what it made of. Just a cheap
only one I refuse to use is a copper one, because copper ones or aluminum. I refuse to use aluminum ones because I've seen aluminum chunks break off.
Oh wow!
And just like wreck graphics cards.
Shoot.
And it got ugly.
I haven't quite seen any of that happen yet on mine, and it just right now, like if you let a liquid cooling system go for too long without flushing it, like you only have to flush it within like once every 4 years. You can change your thermal paste like you would normally do.
I've done that regularly.
Yeah, just there's a huge temperature difference, and it makes a huge on-screen performance boost that you can see. Yeah, and actually, I mean, I was amazed how much temperature made a difference on a computer, and it really, and same with your video card too.
Well, video card, like running a full that what I mean is like running the full cooling to the graphics card and through the through the
you're getting into just a lot more technical stuff there.
Yeah, and in which they make custom ones for every graphics card out there. It's just the installation and all that can sometimes be a bit daunting, and if you mess up one pad on there, you risk your graphics card, something happening to it, which I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I don't like anything risky.
$700 for. But all right, well,
we've been going for so long now. We'll no longer tell me how long we've been going.
Yeah, it's almost 2 hours long.
It's over 2 hours.
Yeah, anything over 2 hours, YouTube resets its live stream counter. Yeah. So all right, well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been fun. This has been a lot of fun, and
definitely a ramble. Definitely a ramble.
Huh? We look forward to continuing doing this with you.
Oh, absolutely, man.
It's cool. I'm excited for what we got.
I want somebody to challenge me at some Mega Man X speedruns, because I'm still waiting for somebody to challenge me on Mega Man X4.
I'll ask around.
Yeah, show me some of these older games that I don't know shit about.
My buddy James might be up for
definitely
that.
Basically anything before Halo, go ahead and assume I don't know anything really about
Okay,
it, so.
All right. Hey. We'll see what we can pull out of the rabbit's hat. So we'll see what we can do.
I'll raise him and just let's say you give me like a ridiculously goal, like I have to beat it within 1 hour, and then we'll see if you can beat it within 10.
Wow, that's
Jesus.
Now you're going back to like the old school achievement hunter days where Jeff had to get like a gamer score of 10,000 in a week.
Jesus Christ!
And he did it in 3 days. He didn't sleep. God. But we've been going now for well over 2 hours. So my gamer tag, it's Nate O. Hambone. Capital N, lowercase ATE, underscore, capital O, underscore, capital H, AMBONE. That's my gamer tag. So yeah. Anyway, we hope that you all have enjoyed this. This is the inaugural episode of Renegades Ramble, and we hope to keep doing this. We hope to keep entertaining all of you, and I want to thank everyone for sitting in with us on this. I would like to thank Nick. I'd like to thank Jake, and I'd like to thank Roan. I mean, you guys are awesome. This studio is amazing, and I can't wait for us to work together and really get some awesome stuff put out there.
Bye, everybody. Love you.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.